HaWah! Prester John, installment 73. Halal, HaWah! Praise HaWah! Holy creatures in heaven, dracons, praise HaWah! All hosts of angels on high, dracons, praise HaWah! Praise him, all dragons that minister in his presence, praise him, all his hosts. Praise him, sun and moon. Praise him, all stars of light. Praise him, heaven of heavens, and the waters that are suspended by his word above the heavens. We're talking that water. David got that water. Let them praise the name of HaWah, for he commanded, and they were created, and he established them for all ages upon ages. He gave a decree, and none will violate it. Praise HaWah in the earth, dracons, and all abysses. Are we talking Leviathans, sea serpents? We're talking dragons. Fire and hail, snow and vapor, storm wind fulfilling his command, mountains and all hills, every tree that produces fruit, and all cedars, animals and every beast, creeping things and the winged bird that flies, and the kings of the earth and all people, rulers of all judges of the earth, boys and girls, old men, and the youth. Let them praise the name of HaWah, for his name is mighty. He alone, his praise is over earth and heaven. And he has lifted up glory for his people, praise for all his pious ones, for the children of Israel, the people who are close to him. Praise HaWah. HaWah. Sing in the presence of HaWah a new song. His praise is in the assembly of the righteous. They of the house of Hasharah will rejoice in their maker, and the children of Zion will exult in their kings. They will praise his name with dances, with drums and harps. They will make music to him. We talking tribe of music. For the pleasure of HaWah is in his people. He will glorify the humble with redemption. The righteous will revel in glory. They will meditate upon their beds. The psalms of HaWah are in their throats, and in their hands like a two-edged sword, to wreak vengeance on the Gentile, rebuke all the nations, to bind their kings with chains and their nobles with fetters of iron, to execute on them the judgment written in the Torah. This is the glory for all the righteous ones. Halal, HaWah. Yeah, hallelujah is Halal, HaWah. Oh, we back to the pure water. Halal, HaWah. Praise HaWah in his sanctuary. Praise him in the firmament of his strength. Praise him for the mighty deeds. Praise him according to his abundant greatness. Praise him with the sounding of the trumpet. Praise him with the harps and the lyres. Praise him with drums and with dances. Praise him with flutes and pipes. Praise him with cymbals. That sound alone. Praise him with cymbals. That sound was shouting. Every breath will sing praise to our Creator. Halal, HaWah, Wah. And that's that Targum, that Targum translation, man. Psalms 148 to 150, man. We are surfing the wave. Hosea 3 and 5. You will seek your Creator and King David. Jeremiah 30, whom I will raise up unto you, unto the children. In the latter days, if these ain't the latter days, and looking around, I don't know what is. It's all frequency, energy, and vibration, man. Let's pop off the right way, as we are talking about that water. Let's talk about the pillars of the world. I'm in a great document called The Mythology of Judaism, Howard Schwartz. Let's get it, man. The Tree of Souls. And I just, belly flop, searching for some stuff, some things. Let's get it, man. Click the links and pull this up. Put all these feature links on the bottom so everybody got the drop. Pull them right up. And, again, this is where we drop them, whether here or the drop chatter. Well, before you got the Prester pack, you already got the links. By the time you get the Prester pack, my Naga, we got the, we just got everything right there for you. And don't trip, we are in our Prester pack right now. I'm digging into the map pack, and you'll see why. Let's go. Pillars of the world. The world stands upon pillars. Some say it stands on 12 pillars, according to the number of the tribes of Israel. Others say that it stands or rests on 7 pillars, kind of like the 7 cities of gold. It wouldn't be something if each of them 7 cities they connected to one of these 7 pillars, and wouldn't it be something if these 7 pillars were just roots of a sacred tree. Yeah, let's go. Now others say it rests on 7 pillars, which stands on the water, right? Like the tree would be. Which has got to do with the center of the earth and, all this magnetic north tree of life situation. This water is on top of the mountains, which rest on wind and storm. Still others say that the world stands on 3 pillars. Once every 300 years, they move slightly, causing earthquakes. But Rabbi Eliezer ben Shammua says that it rests on 1 pillar, whose name is righteous. 1 tree, 1 pillar, many roots, 12 pillars, 7 pillars. Let's go. Now it says one of the ancient creation myths found in many cultures described the earth as standing on 1 or more pillars. In this Jewish version of the myth, several theories are found that the earth stands on 12, 7, or 3 pillars, or on 1. Rabbi Eliezer ben Shammua gives that 1 pillar the name Zadik, or righteous. Like Melchizedek, which also connects to this priest, Melchi or Melech. You have king and Zadok, You have priest or righteous, right? Code keeping. Priest king is Prester John. Now, how does this relate to Khandawi and the foundation stone, my nigga? I'm literally just surfing the wave. I haven't looked at this before. I'm straight up surfing the wave with you. I mean, I think we deserve to be on cruise control and just surf the wave in our Prester investigation. And I definitely want to get, back on that ANIAN, just touch on a couple things with that. Get to that Tengu, swords of the East, dig on Tengu and the connection with that and the Olmecs and the Western Shi or Shia, the Mongol. Get back in the forbidden histories, talk some Tibet, some Buddha, some Solomon, maybe talk a little Jeremiah, Afghan, a son of Jeremiah, okay, who also was raised in the house of David, this Afghan. What do we get in Prester John 70 with this Kabul, this Chief Kabul, and connection with this Kabul, Missouri? Definitely got to touch on the romances, back to the Lost Tribes and Promised Land. Hey, Big Dizzle got some great tribe coming out of Korea, talking about the Ibaru that's being found on, one of these major, is it temples or structures there? We're gonna dig on that. Love to my sister Dove of Zion, who dropped some damn drop, man. We're gonna touch on some damn drop because we can't let our foot off the neck bone of Hijack City. And I would love to get back in that HaWah and talk some more China, the deliverer named China, the, deliverer of the people. Maybe connect that with the Capilia drop in the Owaspi. And we love Prester John and Legend and its sources. That'll be dope to get another couple of sources out of that. So, this is Prester John 73. I can't promise we're going to touch on all these things, but that's why we're going to Prester John 100, my nigga, because we on cruise control in the Prester John investigation. HaWah. HaWah. The only HaWah will have us, tearing down Hijack City. And again, this ain't no history. How can it be history when Hosea 3 and 5 tells you to do what? Oh, yeah. Well, what did Mama tell you to do? Forsake all thoughtlessness and live, man. That means use your mind bone, walk in the way of understanding, and don't correct no scorner. You just bring shame on yourself. Don't try to correct no wicked, man. It's going to only be a blot to that naga. Hey, reprove not no scorner, man, because they're going to develop very hard feelings, And, try not to, correct nothing but wise nagas, because a wise naga will love you. Yeah, a wise naga will get wiser, my naga. Teach a righteous naga, KTC, and they will increase in learning. We're talking about that wisdom. Yeah, Amma, really loves her Dawi, Amma cares for David. Abba, hey, you talking about the image of HaWah, when you talk about the Prester flow, because they have all the elements, you can't be the image of HaWah and just be fire. You can't be the image of HaWah and just be water, or just the ether, or just the earth. You gotta be all these things. You gotta be the last avatar. There was a time when you felt your power, you felt it so much that you kept going astray. Instead of searching for HaWah and Dawi, you started searching for every hijack in the book, man. Yeah, HaWah called you a harlot, Yeah, HaWah said to me, go yet love a woman, beloved of her friend and adulteress, even as HaWah loves the children of Israel, though they turn into other powers. And love cakes of raisins because they baking them to their other powers. So I brought her to me. I bought her. Who's her? You. Yeah. 15 pieces of silver, homer barley, half homer barley. And I said unto her, who's her? You. You shall sit solitary for me many days. You're going to sit down. You're going to sit right there. And you will not play the harlot. You ain't going to be no hoe no more. HaWah bought you back. You ain't going to be nobody's hoe. You ain't going to be nobody's harlot. Yeah, my nigga. HaWah is calling you a harlot, right? Because we going after all these other gods. Yeah, the holiday's full of it, right? Hijack City's full of this, right? And you shall not be any man's wife, man. You can't be with them other guys, man. I'm going to destroy you. You ain't going to be able to even be with them other powers, man. Nor will I be yours. You're going to sit what? Solitary. You're on timeout. Because you going after other gods. Rule number 1, Exodus 20 got us in code. No power before your power. For the children of Israel, verse 4, will sit solitary many days without a king. By the time you start connecting Khan David, that means your many days are up, man. That means it's time to pop off. And without a prince, no Khan. Without a sacrifice, pillar, ephod, teraphim, all your sacred things. Afterwards shall the children of Israel return. So it's not over, my naga. And this is where we at right now. We KTC, MHOE. We popping off. We looking for that water. So Kanda, we, has to be on our mind bone after we seek the creator, our power. Then we search for Kanda, we are Khan, right? Because we ain't speaking English. We talking Khan. David was anointed by HaWah. So you seek the creator by KTC, by keeping the code. That's you seeking HaWah within yourself, man, within your heart bone. Then HaWah puts you on this investigation. We on part 73 of it, where we're seeking David, our king. And here we are. Here we are. Searching for Kandawi. Who is Prester John? Let's go. So this Zadok, this priest, this Khan, this Rabbi Eleazar ben Shammua gives that one pillar the name of Zadok, Zadik, righteous, underscoring an allegorical reading of his myth whereby HaWah is the pillar that supports the world. This, of course, is the central premise of monotheism. Alternatively, his comment may be understood to refer to Zadok or Zadik, the righteous man who existed or whose existence is required for the world to continue to exist. Whoa. Okay. Y'all heard this, Managa? So, according to the Jewish mythology, we're just, jumping into the mind of a hijack, to see what kind of babies they got in the bathwater over here in Judaism. Stuff you might not know, right? So, how does this connect to this priest or this righteous one, right? Alternatively, his comment may be understood to refer to the Zadik, the righteous man whose existence is required. Who's requiring it? Do we have any script stating any type of requirement, my naga? After you KTC and start to seek HaWah, after you connect directly with your frame and your shaper, is there a requirement next? Before you come trembling to the Creator in the end of days? This can't be history if we're talking about prophecy. Come on, man. Anybody that think we digging on history over here, hey, stand way over there to the left, man. Because you can't see the difference between something that's, behind you and something that's in front of you. Something that happened before, something that ain't happened yet. You seen a group of Nagas KTC literally out of nowhere started keeping the code without anyone directing them to do that but the Creator? Then get on a priest king, Prester John, King David investigation? Now they humble unto the Creator and the goodness in these days, end of days, right? I'm getting excited, man. I'm getting excited, man. You should too, because we talk about you. Because you see the connection, and we have never, dug on this. I'm belly flopping. So, alternatively, all right, the righteous man whose existence is required for the world to continue to exist. Why would David be a requirement in the end of days for the world to continue to exist? What is David bringing you? We talking about the deep. We talking about the water. David got the water, right? This that mem, that flows in the deep, man. That mem that is fresh born, popping out. You know what I mean? My naga, did a black man discover the fountain of youth, right? So, my word surfers know. I mean, we're talking the water that they're looking for over here. The David is bathing the tribe. But it's not just some physical water that we're talking about. You know what I mean? We're talking about the order of things. We're talking about the water within you. Don't just get physical with it and say, oh, yeah, there's water that turns me back to the age of 32. That's why we got to find David. It's not that two-dimensional, my not. ThaWaDa is bringing you the frequency, the water that's within you. But you got to KTC. You got to connect directly with HaWah first to even access the David flow. You got to seek the Creator first, then access the David flow. You know what I'm saying? Only in the end of days, so you can't be talking about his story when you're talking about the connection. Seems like there's order popping off, right? Righteous man whose existence is required for the world to continue to exist, or it might refer to the principle of righteousness and how the world could not exist without it. Well, we're talking about the code. Code keeper, let's go. That's why you seek HaWah first. Let's go. Foundation stones getting good to us. The world has a foundation stone. This stone serves as the starting point for all that was created and serves as a true foundation. Oh, we must just be talking about that good old structure, right? Because Proverbs chapter 9 says, Mama has built her house, right? Wisdom has built her house. What is structure? The act of building. Oh, we're talking about a foundation stone. We're talking about the framer and the shaper, framing and shaping. Okay. I mean, that's how we got here, I would think. It's all happening. So the world has a foundation stone. This stone serves as a starting point for all that was created and serves as a true foundation. How did it come to exist? In the beginning, when HaWah desired to create the world, he took snow from beneath the throne of glory and cast it into the waters, where it congealed into a stone in the midst of the deep. This is the center of the universe, and from it the earth expanded in all directions. HaWah began the creation of his world at that foundation stone and built the world upon it. Others say that HaWah took a stone compounded with fire, water, air, and cast it into the abyss so that it held fast there, holding back the waters of the deep. Yeah, we're talking about that mem flow, man. We're talking about that. I mean, the fountain of youth must be connected with the primary mem, right? Let's go. Holding back the waters of the deep, and the world was planted in that place. Then there are those who say that HaWah took the foundation stone and hurled it to the place designated for the temple and raised his right foot and drove the stone down into the very bottom of the deep and made it the pillar of the earth and founded the world upon it. Still others say that HaWah took an emerald stone engraved with mysteries of the alphabet or the Aleph Bet, talking Hebrew, not English, man, and threw it into the water. So that emerald stone reminds me of the emerald scepter, that Moshe has, this emerald staff in the book of Jubilees as well, or excuse me, the book of Yashar as well. So it says it drifted from place to place until it came to the Holy Land, and there it sank, and the whole world was firmly established on it. And that is why it is called even Ha-Shetaya, the foundation stone. Now listen, when King David decided to build the temple in Jerusalem, he commanded that shafts be dug to a depth of 1,500 cubits. And lo, they struck a stone in one of those shafts. As soon as he heard of it, King David went there with Ahitophel, his counselor, and with other members of the court. They descended into the pit, and there at the bottom they saw the immense stone shining like the darkest emerald. All those who saw it were amazed, and they knew it must indeed be that fabled stone which serves as the foundation, the world's foundation. Yet all at once King David was possessed with a great curiosity to see what lay beneath it. King David ordered it to be raised, but a voice came forth from the stone saying, "Be warned that I must not be lifted. I serve to hold back the waters of the abyss." All of them stood up in awe of that voice, but King David's curiosity was still not sated. He decided to ignore the warning, and once more he ordered the stone to be raised. None of his advisors dared say anything, for they feared his wrath. After a great effort, a corner of the foundation stone was lifted, and King David bent down and peered into the abyss beneath it. There he heard something like the sound of rushing waters. Wow. I mean, even if this was make-believe Judaism mythologies, it's an interesting story because it connects to, a lot of the orientation, right? Because ain't no way this is happening on a ball. You don't got no waters beneath on a ball, man. You spinning on the ball, or the waters is just, come on, man. You spin it at 1,000 miles per hour, or are you firm, fixed, and immovable? Wow, so King David bent down and peered into the abyss beneath it. There he heard something like the sounds of rushing water, and he suddenly realized that by lifting the stone, he had set free the waters of the deep. Once again, the world was in danger and being deluged as in the time of Noah. So let's try to put this together with any type of flood that popped off after this, time of David is popping off. You know what I'm saying? Is this how they knew that something was about to happen again? King David trembled with fear, and he asked the others what they might do to cause the waters to fall back. I'm just thinking about this, just the flood situation. We got to get back in that flood of 899 again. I think it's 899, 889, something like that. That's just breaking down some of these major, just one of the most major floods. And there's a couple other ones that we can try to pin together with chronology as well. Not just dealing with Noah and Atlantis, but, anything, similar that's happening elsewhere. You know what I'm saying? King David trembled with fear, and he asked the others what they might do to cause the waters to fall back, but no one spoke. Then King David said, "Perhaps if I wrote the name of HaWah on a potsherd and cast it into the depths, we might be saved. But does anyone know if this is permitted?" Still the others said nothing, and King David grew angry and said, "If any one of you knows this and still refuses to answer, then your soul will bear the curse of the end of existence." Then Ahithophel spoke, "Surely the name can be used to bring peace to the whole world." So David picked up a potsherd and scratched the four-letter name of HaWah into it and cast it into the bottomless pit. All at once the roar of the waters grew fainter, and they knew that they had been saved by the power of the name. In the days to come, King David repented many times for his sin, and he gave thanks to HaWah for sparing the world from another flood. And his son Solomon had the Holy of Holies of the temple built exactly above the foundation stone, for both the stone and the temple bore the seal of HaWah's blessing. Now, this is the only time you ever hear about King David having any other type of sin other than what they claim was the murder of Uriel or Uri, which we correlated in the chronology with this Queen Tamar and David Soslan relationship, and this Uri that was, supposed to be promised to her, and, sounded very similar with David and Uri and Bathsheba, if Bathsheba's just a title and Queen Tamar, is also a title, and do these things match up? So we talked about that before. But here we go with this other sin. And can we venture to say that it's possible that his transgression was this and not that? We don't know. I mean, are we saying he had, this and that, or is this his transgression, that the translators were, trying to, kind of glaze over, because they don't want us talking about no emerald stone and the waters of the abyss and the foundation stone. I mean, that's giving too much into orientation, man, into Hebrew, cosmology, right? So others say that after King David found the stone resting on the mouth of the abyss with HaWah's name on it, he put the stone into the Holy of Holies of the temple. The sages were concerned that some young men might learn the true pronunciation of the divine name from the speaking stone and thereby destroy the world. So they built two lions of brass where they placed by the Holy of Holies on the right and left. If anyone entered and learned the divine name, these lions would roar when they came out, so frightening that he would forget the name. Further, a divine blessing was said to emanate from the foundation stone, which was bestowed upon Israel from the Holy of Holies. Some say that this blessing came from the wings of the dragons. They say angels. We know that. There ain't no man with wings. We're talking fire-breathing dragons like the seraphim. You know what I mean? Like the burning, the fiery ones, my noggin. Let's go. Angels and cherubim. Okay, that hovered above the foundation stone. So are these men with wings are these dragons that are hovering above the foundation stone? And that the stars and planets join the blessing as well. But when the temple was destroyed, the blessing was lost. Others say that the angels above and Israel below hold fast to the foundation stone, which rises up to heaven and comes to rest among the righteous. And if that stone which hovers in the air should fall to the earth, it would be a sign that the days of the Messiah were at hand. Well, who's the Messiah? I don't know. All I know is that Hosea 3 says you're going to wake up, Israel's going to return, seek HaWah and David in the end of days. Jeremiah 30, let's get it. I mean, it's getting plainer and plainer. We're not over here making up no new doctrine, my naga. We're reading the script like you got the script, but we're reading it and putting it together with a dragon, flit-eye perspective. Surfing the wave, man. Yeah, we taking our time, man. We on cruise control. I'm cruising with the cons right now. Jeremiah 30, verse 9. Why? But they shall serve HaWah, their power. Right? Just like Hosea 3. Seek HaWah, your power. And David, your king, your Khan, whom I will raise up unto them. Like what? The end of days. I will raise him up like when? The end of days. When you KTC and serve the creator your power. Seek HaWah and David like Hosea 3. So why is Jeremiah repeating the same thing that Hosea or Joshua is? That there would be a Khan raised up. They talking about the tree of souls, the foundations. There's something about this foundation stone. You know, they're talking about David raising a stone. And if this stone hovers in the air, it should fall to the earth. It would be a sign that the days of the Mashiach were ahead. Whom I will raise up unto them. Yeah, meditate on it, man. Because it's all happening. We're talking Jeremiah. Ooh, we're talking Jeremiah. Hey, my naga, we're talking Jeremiah. Well, you know, we'll get there, man. We're going to talk some more day, you know, Jeremiah. But just think about it. You know, why would Jeremiah be so close to David? You know, why would this be a thing? You know, why would Jeremiah be, so privileged, to speak about the Khan, to talk about the Khan? Yeah, I'm in the Prester pack. We in the Prester pack. Hey, let's dig on some Prester links, books, and maps in the Prester pack. And my niggas dropping on the drop deals of the week, man. And we got the Prester packs with the Nagaville shirts going out to all my niggas that ordered them last week. this week. Some already went out. The rest are going out today and tomorrow. So, you know, I love to share Candy. She's popping off. Hey, my Naga's got the Prester pack and a free Nagaville shirt this week for only $60. And we might continue it for another week. You know what I mean? If you haven't got yours yet, we might have a couple. I think I got like 2 or 3 Prester packs left on me. So I got to order some more. So, you know, hey, holla at your Naga if you need a Prester pack. And we'll still throw in a Nagaville shirt. Hey, out to all my Nagas popping off. And we got new shipments coming in of the Ether packs 1 and 2s. We got a brand new shipment of flat packs with all your flat drop. So, you know, get at us. Music at 432thedrop.com. Music at 432thedrop.com and get your Prester pack. This is that $1,000 book, Medieval Empire of the Israelites. And we just asking about Jeremiah or Yeremahu or Ermias. Love to the, you know, real one, man. You know, neighborhood nib whose name is Ermias, right? So a lot of folks didn't know he's named after Jeremiah, right? Khan. Yeremahu. You know, it's a great source. And it's also in the Drop library at 432thedrop.com. Look out for the new website. Oh boy, I'm so excited. Because, you know, we ain't really got to pop it on the website in a little bit. So, you know, I look forward to, you know, bringing all this together, man, and, you know, making it our one-stop spot, of course, for the Drop. Let's belly flop, man. Where can I belly flop at, man? Where's my little search bar? Okay, there we go. Belly flop into page 323 of the PDF. I'm just a little interested in this Afghan royal family, you know. Because why would Jeremiah feel, you know, so confident to talk about the Khan like this? You know, I mean, you saying a lot if you saying that the Most High will raise him up in the end of days. You know, you saying a lot, man. Let's get it bigger. Let's go, man. Let's pop off. All right, it's going to reload so I can get it bigger, but I'm just going to read what I see here. Hopefully you can see that. Now it says, according to the legend, the rulers of Afghanistan are the descendants of the ancient Israelites. And we have already, you know, Prester John 70, go get it, connected the Afghan with the Quaver, with the Kiber, you know, with the Hebrew. You got to know that Afghan is a Hebrew. You know, then you start looking directly at the home of the Hebrew, which is what they call America today. A Lego. Yeah, we got to get it bigger so we can, man, this is something that you ain't going to really see taught nowhere, you know what I mean? Like, you know, this is something you got to really dig on, you know, in real time. I'm not, you know what I'm saying? Because it might go over your head bone, you know, when Jeremiah's popping off, you know, talking about this, you know, David Flow. You might say, you know, why, man? You know, What's the significance of you telling us to search for the Creator and Khandawi in Hosea 3? All right, that's a little bigger. All right, let's go from here. Let's go. So again, according to the legend, the rulers of Afghanistan are the descendants of the ancient Israelites from the tribe of Benjamin. All right, so you already know we're talking about some straight up Nagas. So it is extremely revealing that this assertion was expressed only in the 17th century. Wow, 1600s. That is after the breakup of the empire. So this is after the breakup of the empire of who? You, my Nagas, 1600s. Come on, man. Right after this, you got the Chickamauga Wars, right? Tecumseh, Hebrew Last Stand, trying to rally the tribes against all the hijack, man. Put it together with your American history. We are connecting the Mongol flow, Mongol history. We're connecting that with this, Chinese, Hindu flow. We're connecting that with the American flow, my Naga. We're connecting all these flows, man, that they said, should not go together. No one said that the Mongol history is going to connect with the American history, with the Hebrew history. And then you can see the duplicates in the Chinese history, the Japanese history, the Hindu history. Oh, man, it's all happening. So check it. The adherents of this version maintain that King Shaul, right? So remember, David replaced Saul. Israel wanted a king. HaWah gave him Saul. Saul ruled them like a king. Then they didn't like that. They asked for help. They got a course correction. They got a Khan. They had a king. They got a Khan. They got an anointed Khan and Khan Dawi, King David. So now they had a real Khan, a priest king, right? A real Khan. So David replaces Saul, but Saul had a son named Yeremahu or Jeremiah, who also had a son named Afghana. So Afghan, where you get Afghanistan, originally and truly is the son of Jeremiah, grandson of King Saul. Now you remember how David loved Jonathan, right? So he took care of the whole house. He took care of Jeremiah, the son of Saul. So he had to take care of Afghana, man, who also had a son named Afghana. Jeremiah died approximately at the same time as his father Saul. And Afghana secured a high position in the rule of King David and renamed and remained at the court during the rule of Solomon. And then it goes on, you know what I'm saying, to talk a little more. We're going to jump back in like we did before and maybe get back on these tribes of Arab al-Rashid. I mean, this gets very interesting. 400 years later, during the troubles of Israel, the Afghan family resettled in the province of Gur. They say now the center of Afghanistan, but we know they're not talking Afghan there. Not when they're talking Kabul, and we can connect the cabals. We start connecting their cabals, man. Oh man, it's all happening. I mean, you got Kabul, Afghan, right? If I could spell Afghan. Oh man, I messed up. Here we go. This is when it gets real funny, man. Like we got on number 70 with this. So you got Kabul, Afghan. Kabul is the capital and largest city of Afghanistan. Right. Now check out this other spelling of it. Cabool. So you can spell it Kabul or Cabool or any other cabals, right? And now you got, what's a cabal? What's a cabal? This is a whole nother definition of a cabal now, right? So this cabal, is very important. So cabal was known by different names throughout history. Its meaning is unknown, but we're about to get some drop when we cross-reference this with cabal in America. Back to the Afghan flow. But this is all substantiating drop, giving you more validation that everything they're saying is over there was originally over here, and all they're doing is photocopying it, trying to trick us into thinking that that's the old world when we're in the ancient love song. So over here, they're going to lie to us and say that the cabal, Kabul, or KAB, or CABOOL, it's the C's and K's are interchangeable, obviously. All right. All right. Now they're saying the meaning is unknown, but certainly predates the advent of Islam. Again, this is a relatively new flow. When it was an important center on the route between India and the Hellenic world. Check it. In Sanskrit, it is known as Kuba Manaka. Yeah, man. Right? What's up with this Kuba? Kuba. Come on, man. Sanskrit script. It's Cuba. Cuba's where? Where's Kabul? Where's Kabul? Let's go, man. Come on, man. Where is CABOOL? Come on, I'll help you out, man. I'll help you out. Yeah, man. I can't make this stuff up, man. I can't make this stuff up, my knock. So you see, this is why it's so fun digging on Afghan, and we just went on this train of thought digging on Jeremiah chapter 30, right? He's talking about David, whom I will raise up, huh? Now we're surfing the wave that, this is the same Jeremiah, although, they'll put together, whatever flow they want to in their own genealogies, which may or may not be accurate. We have to do our own digging, but, there's a Jeremiah here, right? And this Jeremiah here is telling you that HaWah's going to burst your bands, man, break his yoke from off your neck, get you out of captivity, out of this time of Jacob's trouble. And you know what's going to happen, man? The strangers will no more make you their slaves. You're going to be free. With all this freedom comes what, man? That you serve the Creator only. And seek David your king. Again, serve David your king or seek David your king. Either way, you do that after serving and seeking out the Creator first. It ain't like Christianity where you got to go through a hijack to get to the Creator. You don't got to go through no JC to get to know HaWah. You got to go directly to HaWah to even get on the David flow. Because this is who HaWah will raise up unto you. But they just talking Mashiachs over there, right? Nah, man. Mashiachs over here. Yeah, man, don't fear serving Jacob, man, because says HaWah, neither be dismayed, O Israel, for lo, I will save you. HaWah didn't say David is your savior. HaWah came right back and said, I am your savior. Just like Isaiah 43, I will save you. Christians looking for JC, everyone looking for somebody, but no one's truly looking for the creator. But to get saved, man, you need to serve, man. You want to know what structure is? What are you serving? What are you building? With your frequency, are you building at all? Are you building anything with your frequency, man? You can't tap into the water. You can't see ThaWaDa raising up. I will save you from afar and your seed from the land of their captivity. And Jacob shall be quiet and at ease, and no one will make him afraid. Let's go. So Jeremiah is saying that you will serve HaWah and David your king, whom I will raise up unto you. We thought about that, connected that to what? Jeremiah. The adherents of this version maintain that King Saul had a son, Jeremiah, who also had a son, Afghan. We looking in this Afghan business over here. After understanding that Afghan served in David's court and Solomon's court. Afghan over here, you got the Kabul, who's Pashto, the capital, largest city of Afghan. But is this the only place in America named Kabul? Especially seeing that they're spelling it Cabool. We spell it Cabool. We find one more in Missouri. They say, whoa, if you get if you came this far, make sure you don't confuse it with Kabul with a K. But then what are they gonna say? Because they just told us in this Kabul that this was an unknown situation, right? Yeah, this is deep, man. This is why I had to come back to it. They said it's unknown, right? Oh, there we go. Its meaning is unknown, but certainly predates the invention of Islam, when it was an important center on the route between India and the Greek world or the Hellenic world. In Sanskrit, it was known as Cuba. Well, then you say, where's Missouri? Have to do with Cuba, because we're just talking Kabul. Texas County, Missouri. Let's go. The city was named after Kabul, Afghanistan. Why would they name a Missouri city after a city in Afghanistan, Manag? Is this a coincidence? You think there's a Kabul city named after Afghanistan in every continent? Why would it be here? Let's go. The English spelling of the name: in 1882, the British Army had withdrawn from Kabul at the end of the Second Anglo-Afghan War the year before. As the legend goes, one of the construction engineers, here we go, Some engineer who built the railroad through Kabul also worked on the railroad in Afghanistan. So, because an engineer building the railroad, they said worked in Afghanistan, but now he's in Missouri. And this is how it got his name, huh? Man, y'all believe this hype? Y'all believe this shit, man? So it's named after a railroad construction person who thought this area of southern Texas County looked similar to Kabul, Afghanistan. So they named this city after Kabul, Afghanistan, because a railroad engineer thought it looked like Kabul, Afghanistan. Prior to being called Kabul, the community was known as Cedar Bluff. It remains the only Kabul in the United States of America. So this is the only one. It's the only one. And it gets deeper. Old legends claim that Kabul was named after the Indian chief. Wait a minute, because didn't they just tell us its meaning is unknown when we just looking up Kabul, Afghanistan? Yeah, they tell us all this drop. Oh, they gonna throw that barber right in our face. Babar. Babar. The Garden of Babar. Final resting place of the first Mughal Emperor Babar. Managa. Hebrew word of the day. Yeah, man, we gotta surf the wave with the Swan Knights to understand the Barbary War, to understand what is a Babar. Swan Knights. But let's go. Because it's getting so good. So good. Old legends claim that Kabul was named after an Indian chief. They just said Kabul, known for its gardens, unknown origin. Let's go. Its meaning is unknown. Certainly predates the invention of Islam. Let's keep going. In Sanskrit, it's known as Kuba, whereas Greek authors of classic antiquity refer to it as Kafin, Kafis, or Kowa. The Chinese traveler Xuanzang recorded the city as Kafu. Kafu. The name Kabul was first applied to the Kabul River before being applied to the areas situated between the Hindu Kush and Singh. This area was also known as Kabulistan. Alexander Cunningham noted in 19th century that Kafo, as recorded by the Chinese, was in all likelihood the name of one of the 5 Yushi or Takari tribes. Cunningham added that this tribe gave its name to the city after it was occupied by them in the 2nd century BCE. This supposition seems likely as the Afghan historian Mir Ghulam Muhammad wrote that in the Avesta, or sacred book of Zoroastrianism, Kabul was known as Vaikara. Vaikara. Karada. Managi surfing away, man. We talking the Kara and the Cariots and the Karakatai and the connection with the Prester, connection with David. Now we're connecting this Cabal with the Afghan flow to connect it with David. And they tell us that Cabal was known as this Vaikareta. Come on, man. Kara means black or melanated in the Turkic. So you're just talking about a brother or a ta, Karata, Managa, just like Kara Katai. Let's go. Katai is the cat they. Whereas the Greeks of antiquity referred to it as Ortospana, or the high place, which corresponds to the Sanskrit word Urdhastana, which was applied to Kabul. Got it. It remains unknown when the name Kabul was first applied to the city. However, it came into prominence following the destruction of Kapisa and other cities in what is presently Afghanistan by Genghis Khan in the 13th century. So we always point to the 1200s when it comes to Genghis. And we've been talking David. And since the very beginning, we've researched that there was a war between King David and Genghis Khan in 1202. Look at the timeline, right? Genghis' death is 1227. About 25 years after rolling up on the priest King Prester John, right here in America. We're going to get some of that in the Swords of the East, talking Tengu, Managa. So all this Afghan talk, man, keeps going back to America. Genghis Khan, Prester John, back to America, back to Tengu, back to ANIAN, Kovera, back to the flow, the Kiber, back to the flow. Yeah, get Prester John 70, man. You know, I'm going to leave the link so you can surf the wave with all the Presters, the entire playlist, man. You got all the drop. So they're telling us, according to the legend, one can find a lake in Kabul in the middle of which the so-called Island of Happiness could be found, where a joyous family of musicians live. Okay. That's funny, man. I mean, again, they say all this, but they started off with saying that its meaning is unknown. We follow the same Kabul to the only Kabul in the United States. Just a small town. They like to put these little towns, oh, it's just 2,000 people, you know, just a ghost town, you know, nothing to see here, boss. Nothing to see here, boss, man. You know, I've been everywhere, boss. I've seen everything. Nothing to see here, boss. Come on, man. Slow down, man. Kabul, okay. Named after Afghanistan. Old legends claim that Kabul was named after the Indian chief who lived there, whose name was Chief Kabul. The story continues with the narrative that Chief Kabul and his sweetheart jumped into the onyx pool to their deaths at Cedar Bluff, Kabul. Their parents disapproved of their relationship, so they're going to throw out completely out the window the fact that these people are at war, right? They just going to make it into a romance. We're going to talk some romance, love to the Templar. But yeah, they're going to throw out any other possibility for their death other than their parents disapproving of their marriage, man. Come on, man. So this great chief just jumps to his death because his her mama and daddy don't like them. This legend was depicted in 1903 poem Legend of Kabul, written by Tug Wilson and Ben Darnell. The yearbook at Kabul R5 schools or 4 schools is still known as the Kabul, named for Chief Kabul Manak. And then they're going to go into the census and stuff. They're not going to give you no more drop than that. That's for you, Drop Nation, to pick up who is this Chief Kabul. See what we can find on it. You know what I mean? Might be some books out there digging on it. You let me know. Pronounce K Bull like cable. Yeah. Okay. We just talking Missouri, man. What does Missouri have to do with Kabul, the Indian chief? I don't know if they have any more stories around. Let's, do a quick, search for the fun of it. Let's put in Chief Kabul. I'm gonna spell it the other way too. Yeah, I searched this before, man. At least on Google, they try to hide this information. I know some of my knowledge, y'all, on some other search engines, man. Let me know what you find. But everyone's pretty much repeating the same thing. Indian chief who lived there named Chief Kabul, kind of like that Show Low, Arizona, Oh, it's just named after a card game. Shiloh, Sholo, yeah. Kabul, it's just named after an engineer who he worked in Afghanistan. Damn, I mean they can't be that creative these days. They just running out of, creativity fast, man. Yeah, so this is the same thing as the wiki. Old legend claim that Kabul is named after the Indian chief, whose name is Chief Kabul. Kabul. So they're gonna keep, repeating that, talk about the love story, but they're not really gonna give you the drop on who this Cuba is, cause didn't they say he's Cuban? I can't make this stuff up my night. What they say the Sanskrit. In Sanskrit, it was known as Cuba. So we're getting a little here, a little there. I'll leave this for you. We got this before. The Legend of Kabul and this whole, poem, this Patsy Watts situation with this onyx pool and, the Indian warrior romance. And just the more we look into this stuff, it always kind of reminds us of these damn dams, you know what I'm saying? Because they, like to talk about this population rising in this 1891. Now, we know what they was doing around this time. We know what they was popping off, all these damn dams popping off. So what really happened to this city? Anything that it looks like now could not have been what it looked like when it first, popped in there. Yeah, they're going in their own, town history, the church built in 1825. Come on, man. This is after the Chickamauga Wars, man. Matter of fact, this is right after the Tecumseh War. They moved into a lot of these spots right after the Tecumseh War, man. This we gotta know. So whatever they're claiming, is theirs and, their history, they always, pretty much start right there in the 1800s. They don't really connect to nothing other than that because it's all about the Indian chief, man. Fights the lover, Chief Kabul. Just a beautiful poem. I'm gonna leave it, Let me know if you get some drop out of it. We're gonna keep surfing the wave, man, all the way in. And getting back to this Tree of Souls, just a little bit more in this. Because they're talking about a Messiah being at hand. Let's read the fine print. A myth in the Y Sanhedrin 29a asserts that HaWah used a shard to hold back the waters in exactly the same way that David did. So how did David know to pop off? How did his advisors know to pop off in the same exact way? HaWah prevented Tahom, the lower water, from rising up to place by placing a shard above the water. You know, it's interesting, we know that Tahom is also what they would call, Thomas, but in Hebrew it would be Tahom. And we read a lot about this Apostle Thomas situation, you know what I mean? And interesting that his name is Tahom after these deep, deep waters, man. Tahom, you can spell it Tehom. Some spell it with the TA or just TO. But it's literally the deep or the abyss, man. So they're saying this pillar, or here's, just showing the pillars of the earth, the foundation stone that's, trapping in these waters of the great deep. And somehow David raises his stone. Even a little bit requires an enormous effort. I mean, what kind of magic was King David using to raise this stone? They said it was a transgression, right? So he had to make atonement for this sin. And was this the great transgression of David, not the murder that they're trying to put, you know what I'm saying? But interesting, this connection with the home and this Thomas. And, I've been seeing this reflection of this New Testament Thomas with something much deeper, you know what I mean? Literally. Because you're talking about the great deep, man. Thomas is the great deep. The Gnostics, have their own spin on it. They use this text to propose that the original creator God pre-existed Elohim and gave rise to such later divinities and spirits by way of emanations, progressively more distant and removed from the original form. Then you got Kabbalah, kind of reminds you of the Cabal, right? I can't make this up. Doesn't Kabbalah remind you of Kabul or Cuba or Kabul? Like Cable? Like Chief Kabul? What does Kabbalah got to do with Kabul, man? Huh? Come on, man. What does it got to do with Tahom? It's also mentioned in the first of 7 infernal habitations. So we got more 7 cities, but now they're infernal habitations. 7 cities, 7 pillars that correspond to the 10 Kilophot. Kilophot. Qliphoth, literally peels of Jewish Kabbalistic tradition, often in place of Sheol. And of course, you got the Abzus and these other flood flows called Inger. Back to that Ger flow, right? It's the name for fresh water from underground aquifers that Mem is flowing, which was given a religious fertilizing quality in Sumerian Akkadian mythologies. Lakes, springs, rivers, wells, and other sources of fresh water were thought to draw their water from the Abzu. So we're just talking about that. Men be flowing, right? We're just talking to Tahom. What's it got to do with the Tomas, man? Tomas comes from the Hebrew word ta'om, 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 right? I kind of got popped off, man, with these questions this site was asking on IsraelNationalNews.com. In this epic teaching of the opening two parshat of the book of Genesis, Bereshith, and Noah, Rabbi Richmond reveals what went wrong with the world so perfectly created by HaWah himself declared it was very good, and how the world within the span of 10 generations descended into a miasma of human depravity, and the role that water played in the creation of the world, in the punishment of the wicked, and in the redemption of the pure at heart. Now listen up. They're just asking questions. They said, what was King David's connection to the hidden waters of the Tahom? Buried deep within the bowels of the earth, what is the role that these hidden waters will play in the future redemption of mankind? Whoa. We're just talking about the water, but they shall serve the Creator, HaWah, and David their Khan, whom I will raise up unto them. We're talking redemption, right? What was King David's connection to the hidden waters of the Tahom Managa? Tahom Managa? Tahom Managa? Thomas in Hebrew, Tahom Managa? Yeah, another reflection in the good old New Testament, right? That has a deeper meaning, a deep, 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 deep meaning, though, because we're talking to home or great deep, the abyss. But ain't this where the fountain might be popping off from? Right? Where do you think a fountain might be? Where do you think this healing water might be coming from, man? Where do you think the water's coming from? To account for the Prester's age and work around it, Robert Silverberg writes in his 1972 book, The Rim of Prester John, that everybody's writing about the Prester. You just catching up to this Negro? Did a black man discover the fountain of youth, Negro? Who got the water? Who got the Khan? Who's connected with the waters of the abyss, the great deep, which means you gotta connect to your Leviathan. We got some drop on that. Let's go. Oh, this is too much fun, man. So, whoever drinks of its water 3 times without having eaten will have no illness for 30 years, and when he has drunk of it, he will feel as if he has eaten the finest meats and spices, for it is full of HaWah's grace. This water that makes you feel like you ate the finest meat and spices. A person who bathes in this fountain. Someone asked me, is Prester John the Baptist? Go get the drop. All we could say is that before we're talking about baptizing you in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, Prester John was bathing his tribe in the fountain of youth. Whether he be of 100 or 1,000 years old, He will regain the age of 32. That's real life. This is living water. This is water from the Tahom, water from the abyss. Know that we were born, the whole tribe, and Baruch in the womb of our mother 562 years ago. What kind of water has made these people 562 years old? And since then we have bathed or been baptized John the Baptist, Prester John, in the fountain 6 times. Monaga. We just surfing the wave. That's all I can say. Who is Prester John? ANIAN. Oh, we'll get to. I just want to dig on the Prester. This is the picture they took off the link about the fountain of youth, so we got to bring it up ourselves now. El Prester Juan, Emperor de los Abyssinios. This man is who they're searching for how long? $500 years, my knock. Okay. Did a black man discover the fountain of youth? Know that we were born and blessed in the womb of our mother 562 years ago, and since then we have bathed in the fountain 6 times. In other words, Prester John was letting readers know by the miracle of the fountain of youth, the waters, the deep waters. He was 562 years old and going strong. As a result of this interpolation, building on the fountain of youth, Herodotus has identified Ethiopia, which won 1,500 years before. Europe's difficulty in making contact with Prester John then was of no moment. Silverberg argues, for he was immortal. He got that water. Prester got the water. For he was immortal and could wait a while longer to be discovered. Prester John was in that most exclusive club of personalities who had staying power for centuries, not just minutes, my nigga. Okay. The Portuguese encounter, yeah. They're looking for Prester John, right? I just said the Portuguese. Back to the Portuguese monument. This is a monument in Portugal to the seafarers who searched for Prester John from 1145 to 1645, my not. Searching for the Prester. Everybody knew he's a copper-colored Khan, and if this is the Khan of the world, then you got to know what the people look like. You got to know that this is a specific tribe of these so-called Negroes today, a specific tribe of these so-called African Americans today, the lost ones that know nothing about their origin these days, that have to rely on everybody, every test possible to try to put them somewhere. You are in the land of Prester John. And they kept searching for him all the way up into 1645, man. Didn't we just dig on all this drop in the 16th century, 17th century? And we talking Afghan and, all this drop popping off, man. I can't make this up. I'm not. They talking 17th century, not me. All I can say is that it's all happening. Afghan from the tribe of Benjamin, extremely revealing that this assertion was expressed only in the 17th century. That is after the breakup of the empire. So something happened to break up the empire in this 1600s. Or this is, the fall, the final fall of things. Then you have another fall with the Chickamauga up into the Tecumseh 1800s. Tribal war in America. Who are you? The breakup of the empire, the birth of this Islam, right? Jeremiah, son of Saul, Afghan son of Jeremiah, served in the house of Dawid. Got it. Slow down, man. Slow down, man. They had some questions, right? In the Israel National News. What was King David's connection? What was King David's connection to the hidden waters of the Tahom? Great question, right? What was King David's connection to the hidden waters of Tahom? Good question. Good question. We could dig that because we ask the same thing, In our own way, we ask the same thing. We're talking founding youth and all kinds of cool stuff, right? At the end of the day, we keep asking the same question they asking, which is great. Did a black man discover the fountain of youth? What does these waters have to do with the great deep? What does the fountain of youth have to do with the great deep? What does it have to do with the Tahom? And what does the Tahom have to do with Tahom Thomas or twin? Okay. Buried deep within the bowels of the earth, what is the role of these hidden waters, Managa? What role will these hidden waters play in the future? Redemption of all mankind, of all Nagas. And how is this redemptive process presaged or, prophesied and choreographed in the awesome collaboration of the water libation enacted each day in the Sukkot pilgrimage festival in the Holy Temple? Okay, so they're acting it out. They're enacting something about water, libation, liberation, redemption of all Nagas. And they're asking what King David has to do with this hidden water. Okay. But they shall serve HaWah and David their king, whom I will raise up Unto them, they're talking about redemption, right? Alas, for the day is great, so that none is like it. Is a time of trouble, but we need redemption. But out of it shall he be saved. Who? Jacob, my naga. Redemption, right? It shall come to pass in that day, says HaWah, that I will break his yoke from off your neck and will burst your bands, and strangers shall no more make you their slaves. We talking redemption, but you will serve HaWah and David your Khan, whom I will raise up. I will raise up. I will raise up unto the Israelites, the Shikamagwa, the tribe. Therefore, fear not, Jacob, my servant. Don't be dismayed, for I will save you. We're talking redemption. What does David have to do with the redemptive water? For lo, I will save you and your seed from the land of their captivity. Jacob shall again be quiet and at ease, and none shall make him afraid, for I am with you, says HaWah, to save you. We talking redemption. For I will make a full end of all the nations that have scattered you, whether I have scattered you, but I will not make a full end of you. For I will correct you in measure. Oh, but you can't correct no scorner, and you can't correct no scoffer. You can only correct a wise knocker. I will not make a fool into you, but I will correct you in measure. HaWah will discipline you in measure, but will not utterly destroy you. So you might still feel like you're getting corrected, but don't fear. You're not being utterly destroyed. For thus says HaWah, your power, your hurt is incurable, and your wound is grievous. None deemed of your wound that it may be bound up. You have no healing medicines. You need to be healed, my naga. We need healing. And your lovers have forgotten you. They seek you not. For I have wounded you with the wound of an enemy, with the chastisement of a cruel one, for the greatness of your iniquity, because your sins were increased. What sin, mana? Go, love a woman beloved of her friend, an adulteress, even as HaWah loves the children of Israel, though they turn unto other gods. But afterwards shall the children of Israel return, seek the Creator, the Most High over everything, and David their king, and shall come trembling unto HaWah and his goodness in the end of days. We're talking redemption. What was King David's connection to the hidden waters? What role will these hidden waters play in the future redemption of all Nagaville? What's it got to do with this water libation that they popping off on their Sakat? Okay, let's keep it going, man. We're just popping on. Say it with me, Manak. Say it with me, Manak. ANIAN. Or are we just talking Anan bin David? You see how they put the Strait of ANIAN, right where in the other Prester map they had the Bering Strait. This map from the British Museum, 1530. All right, so this would be the Strait of ANIAN right here, which they say the Indians crossed over to get to the other side, right? So the Bering Strait right over here. You got the Prester John land, India Superior, Cathay, Mexico, Mangi. Oh, there's Cuba or Kabul. And what's that got to do with Missouri, right? It's all happening right here in America with the Prester. In the British Museum in 1530 with the Bering Strait right here. Come. When we say ANIAN, you're talking about the land of the Prester. And we even, made it a point to let you know you're talking about Anan, which is a son of David, who wrote the code. Yeah, remember that? Sefer HaMizwoh. It's not hard to find, Anan. You just got to put it all together. They saying Anan bin David wrote the code. Founder of the Kara. Like I said, we keep seeing it, right? Which means black or dark, melanated, copper, you know what I'm saying? Red, ruddy. And we have this ANIAN or Nah. And he's a son of David, and he's, he pops off his whole, Kariot movement, this saying. In the second half of the 7th century. So now we're in the 7th century, back to the Anatoly Flamenco, 3 major chronological time shifts, 333 years, 1,053 years, and 1,778 years. Them shifting the same king, the same kingdom around, pushing it back 300 years, 1,000 years, 1,800 years. So don't get fooled by, this is in the 7th century. This is in the 16th century. Manage, they pushed it around, especially with King David, with margins of over 1,800 years splits, man. I don't care if you're in the BCs. Put the 1,800 years on it, you back in the ADs, right? What, now you in the 600s? Now you with Anan bin David? In the second half of the 7th century and the whole of the 8th, as a result of the tremendous intellectual commotion produced throughout the Orient by the swift conquest of the Arabs and the collision of the victorious Islam with the older religions and cultures of the world, there arose a large number of religious sects, especially in Persia, Babylonia. So now you got the Babylonian Exilarchs like the David Soslan and them, Syria. Judaism did not escape this general fermentation. The weak remnants of the earlier schisms, the Sadducees, the Essenes, picked up new life and flickered once more before their final extinction. All these various hearsays or heresies would nevertheless have quickly disappeared or been assimilated by rabbinical Judaism if the political conditions of the Jews or Hebrews in the Eastern Caliphate had not pushed to the front a certain energetic and determined man and placed him at the head of a new movement. So great was his influence that he succeeded in uniting all anti-rabbinical elements under his standard. So heterogeneous anti-rabbinical elements were all united under his standards. What is hetero? Let's let's do some recap. Heterogeneous. Diverse in character or content. So anything that was diverse from what they were pushing, what the rabbis were pushing, came under his standard, huh? Okay. Anti-rabbinical elements and in forming a powerful sect out of them. This man, Anan ben David, had been a candidate for the highest dignity existing among the Jews at the time. Didn't HaWah say, man, with David that you'll always, have a Khan, coming out this house, right? So even in this time of captivity, they still have these Exilarchs popping off. What's an Exilarch? We got to get back to that Exilarch list, man. We had a whole list of them that we were digging on, which are these leaders, these Hebrew leaders at different times in these captivities. Leader of the Hebrew community, not Jewishes, because those Jewishes had not even converted yet. We're talking the 600s, man, 700s. Definition of Exilarch, one of the line of Hebrew civil and judicial rulers of the exile. So this is a time of exile where you still have rulers. Now this is exiles in Babylon from about the 3rd to 10th centuries, to whom Jews in all countries pay tribute. Yeah. So if you're an Exilarch, then you are the leader. You are, taking the function, the Prester function, the David flow, the Khan flow. When about the year 760, the Exilarch, probably Isaac Iskawi, died. It appeared that two brothers among the nearest kin, probably nephews of his, Anan and Josiah, were next in order in succession to the exalted office. The former was older and richer in theological knowledge than the latter, and thus was the better fitted for the position of Prince of Exile. He should have received the preference over the younger and less learned Josiah. Nevertheless, the nomination was given to the latter. Josiah was elected Exilarch by the rectors of the Babylonian colleges. This reminds me when, King Nebuchadnezzar, was trying to find the wisest in this, house of Judah, the wisest of the princes of Judah. You know what I mean? And, called in David and them, or Daniel and them. You know what I'm saying? Daniel, whose name was Gilead, meaning perfection of your father, because he looked just like his father David, this Daniel. But we got to get back on the Daniel flow. Surf the wave and the Prester investigation. Josiah was elected Exilarch by the rectors of the Babylonian college. So was he the true Exilarch, or was he elected by the ops, right? If he was elected by the rectors of the Babylonian colleges, he was elected by the ops, this Josiah. But since the choice was confirmed by the Caliph of Baghdad, so he was definitely elected by the ops and by the nobles of the chief Jewish congregations. But these nobles was already hijacked by the ops. So it says the following were the reasons for this extraordinary result. If the accounts of the earliest authorities may be credited, in the first place, Anan was of a presumptuous and imperious disposition, while his brother was unassuming and modest. Then it is said Anan had shown evidences of lukewarmness towards traditional Judaism, amounting even to disdain. So, they wanted someone who's going to push their version of traditional yada yada. Anan wasn't on, what I'm saying, whatever the rabbis was kicking. So he was a little bit, off the cuff. And that was a wild card to the power structure. And you got to wonder why. I mean, this is deep. You know what I'm saying? I mean, this all plays. We're just talking about Anan, or are we talking ANIAN? So with this, I mean, we already know that this is the land of Prester John. So could this be the, you know, son of David, kingdom, you know what I'm saying? This, Anon. How does it connect with the Arnon flow? How does it connect with the Arnon flow? We might have to get a piece of that, man. So, Anon, ANIAN, Arnon. So they changed it all to Arnon. We got that. My wave servers know. Now in the script, it's all talking Arnon. It's not talking ANIAN, but we caught them slipping in the algorithm where they're literally changing all the Arnons to ANIAN in real time. In real time. Let's go, man. So you're in the land of the Prester. We're talking ANIAN. We're talking Anan. Slow down. Let's get this story straight. So Josiah was pious and reverenced conformity to the law. Whose law? Any disregard for rabbinical Judaism on Anan's part may be accounted for by his long sojourn east of Baghdad in the Persian Mesopotamian borderlands, which were then the chief hotbed of anti-rabbinical schisms. So that's where they went to pop off at. However that may be, it is certain that Anan's proud disposition would by no means permit him to submit tamely to his defeat and place himself in subordination to his younger brother. His political partisans, who seemed to follow him in religious matters, also did not desert him, and so it came to pass that Anan permitted himself to be proclaimed anti-Exilarch. This step was naturally construed by the Mohammedan authorities as rebellion. It's like calling yourself an antichrist. But Christ means anointed, and you got to ask, anointed by who? In this case, who were you made Exilarch by? Who anointed you Exilarch? Well, we just got before that, this Exilarch situation. They were elected. This Josiah was elected Exilarch by the Babylonian colleges and by the nobles that are under submission, of course, because it's captivity. You know what I mean? The nobles are just following orders at this point. He's calling himself anti-Exilarch, popping off. This step was naturally construed by the Mohammedan authorities, right? So when we talk Moabite today, we talk Arnon, ANIAN, and the Moabite borders. We're talking Anan and these Mohammedan authorities before the advent of Islam. These were Mohammedan tribes worshiping Mohammedan pagan gods that they still throw stones at today. But their authorities, as rebellion against the August authority of the Caliph, who had formally invested Josiah with the position, and such an act on the part of Dehimi, follower of a religion tolerated by Islam, that is, a Jew or Christian, must in the Mohammedan state appear serious in the extreme. So if you're a Christian, they're tolerating that. If you're a Jew, they're tolerating that as long as you are, abiding by the hijack philosophy of being a Jew. But if you're going off of that script of the rabbis, that's not tolerated, right? Now you're an anti-Exilarch, leading some rebellion, right? It's rebellion now, right? Let's go. Yeah. So these Mohammedans construed it as rebellion. Therefore, when Anan's proclamation of himself as Exilarch became known, he was arrested by the authorities one Sunday in the year 767, thrown into prison to be executed on the ensuing Friday as guilt of high treason. But lucky for Anan, he met in jail a prominent and shrewd fellow prisoner, no other than the founder of the great Mohammedan casuistic school of Hanafites, whose ritual in dominant was dominant in Turkey at the present day, of the name of Al-Nu'man ibn Thabit, surname Abu Hanifa. He gave the unhappy pretender to the Exilarch the following very shrewd advice, which saved his life. The pretender should set himself to expound all ambiguous and doubtful precepts of the Torah in a fashion exactly opposed to the traditional interpretation, and make this principle the foundation of a new religious sect. He must next get his partisans to secure, by means of presents and bribes to the highest officers of the court, the presence of the Caliph himself at the trial, his presence not being an unusual thing at the more important prosecutions. At the right moment, Anan was to throw himself at the feet of the Caliph and exclaim, "O ruler of the faithful, didst thou appoint my brother Josiah to a position of dignity in one religion or in two?" Undoubtedly, the Caliph would answer, "Only in one." Thereupon Anan was to declare that his religion was quite a different one from that of his brother and of the rabbinical Jews, and that of his followers entirely coincided with him in matters of religious doctrine, which was an easy matter for Anan to say, because the majority of them were opposed to rabbis. The pretender and his friends complied with the shrewd counsel given by Abu Hanifa. In the presence of the Caliph Mansur, Anan defended himself most skillfully. Moreover, Anan won for himself the special favor of the Caliph by his protestations of deep veneration for Muhammad as the prophet of the Arab nation, and that the world of Islam by the declaration that his new religion in many points entirely coincided with the Mohammedan, instancing the fact that the setting of the festivals was not decided by the astronomical calculations of the calendar, as with the rabbinical Jews, but by the actual observation of the new moon, as with the followers of Islam. In this way, the prisoner, though he had already been condemned to death, succeeded in gaining not only his freedom, but also in winning the favor and the protection of the ruler and of all the Arab authorities, a circumstance was proved of the greatest assistance to this new sect so strangely founded. Reminds you of these biblical stories where the Most High gave him favor even in hijacked city, right? He's being raised up like Cyrus, like Nebuchadnezzar did, with Daniel and all this. So I told you he wrote the code, right? So we've been comparing the Moses flow with the David flow. They both wrote the code, but this is a code that's being popped off in 770 AD. Anan was now able to devote himself to the development of his new religion and its new code. But one thing was essential: it must deviate from traditional Judaism, for that was the very raison d'etre of his new sect and the justification for his release. The fact that the majority of his followers were anti-rabbinical also made this course advisable. His Sefer HaMizwoh is the book of precepts, which occupied him for several years and which was published about 770, must be considered the basis of the newly found Ananite sect. It portrays very clearly that its author was anything but an original genius. He simply appropriated interpretational deviations already existing in ancient doctrinal differences. An analysis of Anan's code exhibits the following aspects. So you got Anan's relationships to the rabbinical and traditional legislation may be compared to that of a traveler in an unknown religion who, though he deserves to separate from his guide, realizes that he is not able to find the way by himself and is thus compelled to follow his leader, to keep his eyes riveted on his footprints, and at that same time to select parallel paths and side lanes in order to maintain the appearance of independence. Yeah, some Nagas don't want to follow the path. You know what I'm saying? They want to maintain the appearance of independence. Thus, we find that although this schematic made the total rejection of tradition his watchword, he availed himself of the identical rules of interpretation framed in the Talmud, the so-called Midot of R. Ishmael, for the establishment of his religious views. He makes many modifications in them, it is true, and forces many exaggerations upon them, and with his imperfect philological or philological attainments elicits some very curious ideas. He draws freely upon those divergent opinions that are set down in the Talmud, but that he did not attain recognition as authoritative decisions for religious practice. In the halakha, from rabbinical jurisprudence, he adopted some material with arbitrary modifications. Other details, again, he accepted bodily from the Talmud as true and binding traditions. These later, the Kariots, designate as the inherited burden, or the Sebel HaYarusha. And since Anan designatedly imitates the language, style, and fashion of the Talmud most accurately, it is not to be wondered at that of Jaon. At that, a Jaon of the 9th century could say that the schismatic promise his followers to give them a Talmud all them for themselves, and in point of fact did furnish them with a most impious one. So, he pretty much said, I'm going to make sure you got this document. I'll make sure you got the full code, and it says he made a most impious one. Man, so, they're going to keep connecting a few, I'm saying, of the major, differences and, some of the similarities, that this Anan bin David drew from to write the Sefer HaMitzvot and to, create or recreate a code for the Nagas, especially the Nagas in captivity. Because he wasn't doing it for the nobles. He wasn't doing it, for the hijack. He was standing his ground, man. He was standing his ground against the rabbinic flow. Yeah, they have very specific rules, man. It says Karaism succeeded Ananism. Be this as it may, it is certain that the whole Ananite legislation was better fitted for the world renouncing recluse than for the free citizen of the world. So the Ananite law, they say, is better fitted for the recluse than the person just popping off as a free citizen. Because that recluse wants to break away. Although the story that Anan removed to Jerusalem is a later invention, it is true that sometime after his death, his devoted followers, who were called Ananites, the name Karaites appeared later, could find no better course than to settle in the holy city and live there in a secluded life of asceticism. They gradually disappeared. The greater portion of the anti-rabbinical schismatics separated themselves by degrees from the Ananites and created the much milder form, Karaism, which is better fitted for secular life. All right, so they were saying it was too harsh, right? So they had to make a lighter version according to, these translators, as if they know something, man. But rules for the Shabbat, it was forbidden to go outside of one's dwelling on a Sabbath except for purposes of prayer or necessity. What would be a purpose for necessity? Like the Maccabees, when they're being rode up on and murdered on the Sabbath, and they have to either flee or fight or do something, not just to pop off, right? So anything that is ordinarily carried on the shoulders owed to its size and weight might not be carried around even in a room. Anan's law book insists that the Sabbath evening, Friday, must be passed in darkness. Lights kindled in the daytime on Friday must be extinguished at nightfall, for it is forbidden to pass the Sabbath in a place artificially illuminated. Cooking and baking must be done by Friday, not only for Friday and Saturday, but also for Saturday night. All right, so, some of these things, might seem connected to Judaism, some might be, more extreme based on what, we ever, heard of or read in the script. But, this is how he was getting down according to him, according to these translators. So, cooking and baking must be done by Friday, not only for Friday and Saturday, but also for Saturday night, to forestall any impatient longing for the close of Shabbat. Interesting. If you're a code keeper, you already know sometimes, something might be popping off. You might have to, get to, in this case, cooking or whatever, and you might be impatient. You might be like, all right, man, I think it's dark enough. I'm out of here. You know what I mean? But he didn't want you to be impatient, longing for the close of Shabbat like that. Viands already prepared must not be kept warm but eaten cold. Unleavened bread, matzah, must be made exclusively of barley meal, and that he prepares it out of the wheaten meal incurs the punishment appointed for those that eat actual leaven. Nor may this leavened bread be baked in the oven, but like the paschal or paschal lamb, it must be roasted on the coals. In spite of his pretended tolerance, utterances concerning the foundations of Christianity and Islam. So, although he, just to win favor, he acted like there were some similarities and he was tolerant towards Islam and Christian, whatever they want to say. This is Anan amplified very considerably the traditional injunctions designated to keep the Jews distinct from other nations, particularly in the manner of the dietary law. Okay. That the founder of Kharism had small respect for science is often shown in his law book. He forbids the use of medicines and of medical aid in general. For it is written, he says, I, God, am your physician. He's reading from Exodus, is that 15, verse 26. This is held to prohibit drugs and doctors. His opposition to the astronomical determination of the festivals of which he boasted to the caliph led him to declare astronomy as a branch of astrology and divination forbidden in the Bible, thus undermining the very foundation of the rabbinical calendar. Yeah, I mean, the more you read Anan and, start connecting that with the other sons of Dawi, more and more it starts to pop out as we dug on this Anan and connected it with me. ANIAN. I mean, why have they taken these off the maps now, right? Why did they confuse the ANIAN and Arnon flow? Once we know that ANIAN is Arnon, like we looked up before, you have Arnon and you have ANIAN. Let's get specific, man. Oh man, I put in Arnon ANIAN, man, and man, Drop Nation, man. I guess we've been putting that work in, you know what I'm saying? Hey, get the playlist, man. It's all happening. I love the baby girl, man. She popped it off with her Abba from part number 1, man. That's dope that we've done that much recon that we pop in the analytics, but you got to be reconning the ANIAN and the Arnon flow to get into the Prester flow. But let go. Oh boy. Oh boy. I'm just looking at ANIAN, man. And it starts to connect to the R9, man. And my Naga's doing some great recon, man. I'm seeing a lot of Nagas surfing the wave, just digging on it on their own, man, and just pushing it forward, man. Just keeping it wavy, keeping the water flowing. And, I'm going to do a quick feature, man. Someone dropped some great drop, and I made sure I put it up on the IG. What's up with this ANIAN? And what's up with this R9? Let's go, man. I mean, let me try to take these links down. Aha. We talking Moab again, huh? So, when we talk subjugation of these Arabs, this and Arabs, that, Managa, this is what it looked like. It looked like you. You know, they called him the Mad Arab, man. The Mad Arab, huh? Some members of the Moorish American community have taken a vested interest in the workings of the Necronomicon by Simon. This may be the case partially because the Simon Necronomicon is a grimoire or spell of ancient Mesopotamian magic. What are they dealing with over here, man? What are y'all dealing with? And the Moorish American legacy finds its origin in such traditions. According to the Holy Quran of the Moorish Science Temple of America, we read the key of civilization was and is in the hands of the Asiatic nations, the Moorish, who are the Moabites. So we talk Moab, now we could talk tribal, now we could really talk Moab and Arnon and ANIAN. The Thorndike Bernhardt Dictionary 1979 states a direct connection between the Moor and Moab. So let's get specific, right? Got it. Moabites from biblical Moab, which means they are the sons of Lot, which also means that, Lot rocking with Abraham and all this is true story. That means, the Israelite Moabite wars are true story. Now, Pimenta Bay's work gives a detailed history of Moors in the United States and abroad. However, the ancestry of the Moors lends itself to the Hittites and Amorites too. Oh, man. Okay. See, when they say Northwest Africa, they're talking about America. You dig? The Moabites are the land of Moab who received from permission of the Pharaoh. See, that's the difference between us and them, is that our permission comes from the Most High. Theirs comes from the Pharaoh of Egypt, Atlantis, right? Thoth and them, Apollo, right? Apollyon, Abaddon, right? To settle and inhabit America. This is Northwest Africa, is northwest of the other so-called Africa, right? So they got permission of the pharaohs of Egypt to inhabit America, but they claim it as their own, right? They were the founders and are the true possessors of the present Moroccan Empire. America, with their Canaanite, Hittite, Amorite brethren who sojourned from the land of Canaan seeking homes. Now, are we talking Canaan or are we talking Anan, right? And we dug on that, the Canaan-Anan connection, you know what I'm saying? With these one-letter rules. I mean, Horace Butler told us this, right? Okay. Just surfing away. And I'm going to leave the link because, as you see, it's a whole lot of digging to do. We're just talking Anon and Arnon. They listen to all their gods, man. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. It says, remember not to make the sacrifice either too large or too small. This is out there, Necronomicon. It Says the fact that the Amorites were the ancestors of the Moors brings us back to the Necronomicon by Simon, the Mad Arab. Writes about, remember the Mad Arab they were calling Noble Drew Ali, writes about an Amorite in the Simon Necronomicon named Abdul bin Martu. Remember not to make the sacrifice either too large or too small, for if it's too small, the demon will not come, or if coming, will be angered with thee, so that it will not speak even when charged. For that is the covenant. What covenant? The covenant that these Moors or Amorites or Moabites or Canaanites or whatever, the covenant that they're making with the what? The demon. They just listed all their gods, right? So they had to make this sacrifice to these demons, and they couldn't make it too small, or he would be angry when he comes, even when charged. How they charging him up? With these sacrifices. And if it be too large, it will grow too large, and too fast, it will become difficult to control. What demon are they feeding, man? I mean, of course, you got dragons on different sides of the war, right? So are they feeding a dragon and worrying about this dragon being too large, too fast, difficult to control? The demon? They call Leviathan a demon. They call Leviathan a Satan, right? In their etymologies. Etymologies, Leviathan, sea monster, sea serpent, right? This is HaWah's dragon in the book of Job. Oh, yeah, called the crooked serpent because it's twisted. To turn, to twist. They say crooked like he's a bad guy. No, he's just crooked. He's turning, he's twisting. This is HaWah's dragon. And they say he's a form of Satan. Wow. Sometimes regarded like what? In the New Test. So if they would call this other thing a demon, and they're calling this a Satan, but it's really a sea serpent or a dragon, gotta make you think about what they're calling a demon if they're just calling Leviathan Satan, right? Let's go. So read this with the dragon in mind. It says, remember not to make the sacrifice either too large or too small, for if it's too small, the dragon will not come. Or if coming, will be angered with you, so that it will not speak. So they want the dragon to speak when it is being charged. These are necromancers, right? We're out the Necronomicon, right? So they're doing spells to conjure the dragon or to charge it up, doing a sacrifice that's not too large or small, because that's their covenant with this dragon. And if it be too large, it will grow too large, too fast, will become difficult to control. And one such dragon was raised by the priest of Jerusalem, Abdul den Martu, and was fed extensively on the sheep of the flocks of Palestine, whereupon it grew to frightening proportion and eventually devoured them. But that was madness, for Ben Martu worshipped the old ones, which is unlawful, as it is written. Who are the old ones, man? Let's go. Because don't make me pull up, what I'm saying, that Prester John and the Gypsies were the Moors, or the Ethiopians in Western Europe are eating the dragon to get more life to reverse their age against accidents of old age. They lived around Hebron, where they allied with Abraham. They also lived around Shechem. Later, they settled the land on the east bank along the Arnon River near Moab. So the Arnon plays heavy. Yeah, as the Nethanim, they were eventually attacked by King Saul, the Benjamite. So he rode up on them, the Benjamite, Saul. Who's King Saul? Man, we're making a great dismount. Prester John, installment number 73 popping off. The adherents of this version maintain that King Saul had a son, Jeremiah, who had a son, Afghan. So Afghanistan is named after, or is the namesake of his grandfather, Saul. And Saul was on the hijack head bone, along with all his other, endeavors, but he definitely was on the hijack head bone. And they were attacked by King Saul the Benjamite and had to escape to join their Semitic cousins in Tibet. Anake, this is happening here. They just said they came to Northwest Africa. This is their Northwest Africa. This is their Northwest Africa. They're coming here, man. Mad Pack. Hey, man, we still in that Prester Pack. We still in that Mad Pack, man. We still surfing the wave, man. Oh, man. This is when we on cruise control. Taking it real slow, real easy. We got to get back in that Roosh map, too. Let's do it like this. A Mexican. Oh, a Mexican. Let's get it, man, for the dismount, man. I'm out of here, babe. What do you see here? I'm just going to leave it right here. Right. There's an untold and a sort of hush-hush history about the Moors that's like a big secret. Truth is, the Moors were and are the aboriginal indigenous inhabitants of North, Central, South America. Oh, man, stop it, man. You just said you got permission of the Pharaoh to even come over here. Now you claiming the entire land of the priest king, Prester John? Nah, man, we ain't having it, man. Nah, man. This ain't happening, man. Hold up, man. Nah, man. So how do you get to this? How do you get for North America or India Superior to be called Northwest Africa and Southwest Africa? How do you get Moabite to North America or India Superior being the land of Ham and everything else over here being the land of Cush? Where's Israel? Where's Shem? Shem don't exist no more. Moabite. It's just Ham and Cush. West of Maxim, east of Maxim, northwest of Maxim. You get it. Moabite, how does the world look like this now to you? All Morocco, all Amexem, all Atlantis, Ham and Cush, right? Zeus can't have it no more. You know why, Moabite? Because it's one thing you do know that you've probably forgot to mention to the whole world. That this same place you want to claim as Ham in Northwest Africa is the land of the Prester John. Is India superior? Ham can't have it. You don't go from this to that hijacked city you want us to believe in. Nah, this is the Prester land. You don't go from that to this, my noggin. Nah, this is the land of the Prester, man. We don't do it here. It ain't happening. As we pop off, we see clearly there's only one priest, King Prester John of the land of the three Indias, Emperor of the Abyssinians. We talking Moshe flow. Let's go. We out of here, man. We out of here. I mean, they talking Tibet. We talking Roosh, right? We talking the Khan. Now we can't give up the Dawi flow no more to Ham and Kush. Nah. What they say about Tibet? Because as they're trying to make this Northwest Africa, where's Tibet though? Right here in Northwest Africa. Right here in Tangu. Tangu, right? Mangi. All the drops, same as here. In the Ptolemaeus Osgabi, 1548. India Superior, Tangu, North America, right? Florida, right? Tangu, North America, right? Florida, right? Cathay, China, North America, right? Mexico, Mangi, Manki. Yeah, man, it's like an easy lay at this point, man. Who's the Tangu? The Tangu are the Western Shi. Who's the Western Shi? Apparently, they're getting rode up on by Temujin or Genghis Khan, who is a black man. Yeah. Hey, where's that picture of Genghis Khan? Where's that Genghis Khan picture, man? Do we have it in our Prester links on the Prester pack? I'm just belly flopping. Oh, Genghis Khan depicted as a black man, live in full effect at 432thedrop.com. Boy, you better get this drop painted by V.S. Smirnoff in 1883 of Genghis Khan depicted as a black man. Uh-oh. So he rode up on the Western Shi. See, this is a black on black war, more and more war Anybody else, you got to get in where you fit in later on. But this is the land of the Prester, and it's a more and more war. Prince Michael of Chernov, a Rus. So you know this ain't no real Rus. And we actually got the real picture. There was another painting that had this as a brother and this as a brother, and all these were Nagas, and they repainted this iconoclastic, all these other people in, but they left Genghis Khan as a black man, right? Look at him, boss. Can't make this stuff up. Go ahead and look at him, boss. This is Genghis Khan. They try to make him a chubby, so-called Oriental, right? So-called Mongol. But this is what the real great one look like. The great ones, the Mongols. He's a relative of King David. Or maybe he's just a foster son. Either way, he wanted to be a David, right? Prince Michael Chernov was passed between fires in accordance with ancient Turco-Mongol tradition. Batu Khan stabbed him to death for his refusal to obey, to do obeisance to Genghis Khan's shrine. So this is a painting of this Rus prince who's getting killed by Batu Khan because he wouldn't do a pagan ritual at Genghis Khan's shrine. So he got killed for being KTC. Not him, but the Rus, the Rus, right? What does the Rus really look like? The Rus, the Rus, the Rus is on fire. They say he got passed through the fire. But what does the Rus look like? Your crest, your shields, your face. Lost tribes of Israel identity. This is a more on more war, Managi. With this Naga, not that other hijacked city, but this Naga is supposed to be this, right? And he's getting killed for not worshiping this shrine of Genghis Khan. But note that Genghis Khan is depicted as a black man. Oh, man. Oh, Genghis? What's popping, man? What's popping with Genghis over here? Man, it appears to be all happening with Genghis over here. And they're talking about Tibet. We're talking about the Western Shi and how Genghis, not this, not this, not that, man. We're talking Genghis, though. The black man, the black man. The real Genghis. He rode up on Tagru, who is Wang Khan, or priest king, Prester John, Kong of the Cariates. There we go with the car again, right? Yeah. Western Shi is known about Huangzong's reign, 1203. Prester John was defeated, they say, by Genghis Khan. So a so-called black man, a so-called brother, right? Did a black man discover the founding? A so-called black man was rode upon by an actual black man. And I mean that by definition of the wickedness to roll upon somebody who was a pops to him, was a protector to him, you know what I mean? But he wanted to be a David. He wanted Prester's daughters in marriage, and the Prester said, man, I'd rather burn them alive than give them to you because you ain't got no humility. You hijack city. And Genghis said, for real, for real? And Prester said, for real, man. Hey, bust a move. And Genghis busted a move. And it was the biggest dragon war you ain't never heard about. It was the biggest world war you never seen. This was the biggest world war we never talked about. But it has to do with the Western She, right? The Western She is the Tengu and the Tibetans. Whoa, whoa, whoa. I don't know how I skipped this last time. Let's get it for the dismount, clear my throat. Let me get my copper water here, man. It's getting too good to me now. How we doing on our, how we doing for the dismount, man? Ain't no time, but how we doing for the dismount? Manlaga, you surfing away with me, because I'm surfing away with you. Prester John 73. So the Western She are the Tengu, are the Tibetans, which is why on the Roosh map you have what? Both Tengu and Tibet side by side, which is on the other side of the map from, what I'm saying, what they would call Asia today and Little India over there and Africa here, right? But we're in Northwest Africa, right? We're in the Northwest Africa. This is the Kush side. We're over there in the Ham side, right? Where we got Tar Santa, the Holy Land, and Tibet and Tangu, and another Tibet. But it's over here. It's not over there. It's not over here. This is where Tibet should be, somewhere over here, right? So why is it over here in India Superior, my nigga? Next to Tangu and Mangi, why do we have a map of India Superior, my nigga, in 1548 with Tangu and Mangi? Where's Tibet? It would be like right around here, right? In North America, where China is and, you know, India Superior. Tangu. Who's the Tangu? Let's go. Let's go, my nigga. This is just, it's just all making sense now. The Tangu is the Shia, Shishia is the Tibetans. Tangu ruled empire, a dynasty of China. We keep saying, where's China? Where's Cathay? Cataya, right here. China, Cataya. Or Cateo, right here, which is the Katai, as in Kara. Katai, which means a pure land, like promised land. Who are the Tangu? They are the Shia. Shishia. Who are the Almec? Managa. The Almec are you, and the Almec refer to themselves as who? The Olmec called themselves the Shia, like Shia. Yeah. The Olmec are the Shia, are the Tangu. On your map, in your Facebook, Tangu. It's very important with this Genghis Khan war with the Western Shia, this Mongol war, right? So this Tangu is on your map of North America. The Tangu are the Tibetans, which is why you see Tibet on your Roosh map, right here. The Tangu are the Tibetans, are the Shia. She are the Shi. The Olmec called themselves the Shi. And just to body bag this one more time for the dismount, man. One more time for the dismount. Man, it's too good. It's too good. It's too good to us, man. We're talking about the Shi. Remember this in this Michael Rourke blog, and this is part of what was in the Forbidden Histories of America that they took out. That when we talked about the Solomon the Builder in Sylvanus, Texas, and the Hebrew Romani Pomegranatus, and the Exilarchs, we're talking about the Exilarchs all day. This is the royalty, the nobles that are the Swan Knights or the Barber HaKazim. Hebrew word of the day, Barbar, Khan, Swan. He also had a fleet of trading vessels known as the ships of Solomon or swan boats. These ships are shaped like a swan, Barbar, with its sails like a beautiful gliding white swan. After the defeat of Solomon the Builder, Sylvanus, Texas, the members of the royals were sent back to Europe or Asia over there, where they were under the protection of Nehemiah Theodore Roos. The Roos is on fire, right? And his family, the legends of Dun and Ogir, are based on the activities of this family, descended from Duan, Antagun, Ogir, Sylvanus Brabo, Solomon Barber. The legends of Ogir the Dane, son of Godfrey, Kadro, Dun de Maintz, actually refer to ThaWaDa de Danann or Dunan, who are also known as Mananan, or get this, Maine of America. Get this, where the giant ogre heads of the Olmec are found. They took this whole line out of Forbidden Histories of America. They don't say where the giant ogre heads of the Olmec, because then you're looking at ogres differently in these Shrek stories. These Shrek stories are about the Olmecs, not the ogre. It's the Olmec. And the Olmec are Sylvanus and them, the Brabos, the Swan Knights, are the Olmec or the Shia, because the Olmec called themselves the Shia. We're talking Mananan and Maine of America, huh? We're talking the Brabos, the Rooses, the Swans, the Hebrews, are the Olmec, Managi. Like the Aztec, following Joshua, Managi. Oh yeah, the Moors know about Joshua. They call him Joshua the robber, right? The Olmec called themselves the Shi. The Shi are the Tangu and the Tibetans in India superior. Who are the Rus? The real Saracens. Who got the towel? X marks the spot. We just talking the tribes of Israel identity, right? We're just talking Jeremiah, the father of Afghan, who served and secured a high position in the rule of King David, and Solomon. Are we still talking Solomon the Builder? Sylvanus Texas. Lost tribes and promised lands for the dismount. It's gonna be the best dismount of all time, I'm not. Like, Drop, you always say that. Nah, man, I mean it, man. Every time I mean it. Man, let's belly flop. In chapter 3, let's get it like it's the first time, man. Let's just get this piece right. We've been talking about that Catalan map in the intro where they had that golden fruit, get the last drop. A Saracen king. Whoa, we just belly flopping to Saracen. Who else is a Saracen? Oh, the word Saracen, talking about the Arab tribes. No, we're not talking about Noble Drew Ali and them, man. We're talking about the lost tribes of Israel identity. Yeah. A Saracen's head is you. A Saracen king is described as being always at war with the Christians at Nubia, who are under the rule of the emperor of Ethiopia, of the land of the Prester John. But Ethiopia is below the southernmost edge of the map, and we learn nothing more about this. Below the southernmost edge, let's go. The narrators of John de Bethencourt's Canarian expedition speak of going to Africa. Which one? Because they just said we in Northwest Africa. To obtain news of Prester John and Prince Henry's chronicler, Gomez Inez de Zerara, writes of the explorations along the African coast that the prince not only desired to have knowledge of that land, but also of the Indies, like India Superior, and of the land of the Prester John if he could. Indeed, the search for Prester John, for the name which is Presbyter Johannes in Latin and Preter John in French, is simply a variant of this, was considered by Zerara to be one of the main reasons for Prince Harry's whole enterprise. They were searching my naga. This is what popped off the Crusades, my naga. This is the reason for Prince Henry's entire enterprise, my naga. The legend of a Christian prince, or we're talking Nestorian, they like to call it. Yeah, man. You already got the drop. Living at the other flank of the Muslim world had excited Europe. They were excited. So what they do, they went searching. Yeah, they were filled with zeal to slay you, to slay the Prester, to conquer your cities of gold, your Cibola, your Kalelus, your HaWah. Oh, yeah. Now, he was living on the other flank of the Muslim world. I guess that's just a maxim, right? Excited Europe for nearly 300 years. They were searching for at least 500 years. Wow. But Henry the Navigator's zeal to find him may seem surprising in the light of the dismal history of race relations that was to ensue as a result. Why? What's the problem? For by this time, most educated Europeans considered Prester John to be black or melanated. My naga. Body bag for the illusion. You ain't looking for no white man. You looking for your brother. Hosea 3 and 5. You search for HaWah and your brother, your Khan. He's the Khan of the Naga. They gave us all these other images. They took away the last noble image, man. We forgot about the nobility of the Khan, of the Naga. We lost faith. We don't believe in prophecy. We don't believe in Jeremiah. Man. But Jeremiah was serving in his court, right? Most educated Europeans consider Prester John to be black. So we ain't talking about the dummies. We're talking about the most learned Europeans around. But that does not mean that they had specifically identified him with the emperor of Ethiopia as we understand that designation today. Why not? Wow, man, we're talking geography of the Middle Ages was too vague. They don't understand geography in the Middle Ages. And the legend more splendid than that monarch or any monarch ever been. In fact, Prester John had not originally been placed in Africa at all. I mean, maybe not Northwest Africa, So there's a confused geography. The legend made its first known appearance in Europe in the 12th century when Bishop Hugh of Jabala arrived in Rome to appeal for a second crusade on behalf of the beleaguered Christian princes then established in the Near East. As a result of the first, Hugh told a heartening story about a Far Eastern king, Oriental Managa. You're in the East, named John, a Nestorian Christian. What is a Nestor? For the dismount? Oh, it's getting good to us, man. Too good to us, man. Nestor, name for old king, renowned for his wise counsel, 1580s. One who blesses, huh? Blessed. Someone who's Baruch is a Nestor. An old king is a Nestor, renowned for wise counsel. So they keep differentiating as a Christian, he must be a Nestor Christian because he's connected to wisdom, which makes him not what they are. He's something else, but they need to tie him into Christianity because they're searching for him for 500 years. So he's a Nestor Christian, a Nestorian, a wise king, renowned for wise counsel, right? Who had invaded Persia not long before and conquered Ecbatana. So David was putting in work. Its capital, John, had then taken his army towards Jerusalem, intending to help its crusader king to defend it against Muslim attack. No, that's conjecture. Because he didn't do that. They just were hoping he would help them against the Moor, right? Because he was already at war against the Moor. But he just let him have it. He just let these hijacks, you know, battle their own fight, fight their own battle, but had been unable to get his troops across the Tigris, describing John as a descendant of those magi who got the magi, original magi in the New Test. He's one of these Ethiopians he's the Ethiopian that comes to visit baby Jesus, right? He made obeisance. Here's that word again. Obeisance, right? To the shrine of baby Jesus, right? In whose land he now ruled. Hugh said that he wielded an emerald scepter. Back to that drop from the very top with the emerald stone and the pillars, right? So we got the emerald scepter. Now, it's the same scepter that Moses used, or David used, or Joshua used to part the waters, that Adam used. According to the book of Yashar, it was a sapphire staff. So sapphire, emerald, just dig on it. Just dig on it. Hugh's story may have been based on the exploits of an actual Tartar king. The Tartars were often in contact with the far-flung Nestorian communities of Central Asia. Central Asia, it always begs the question, does North America even exist? Or we're just still in Asia? Central Asia would be weird. Tibet would be weird. Florida's here. Asia's here. Cathay's right here. Mansi, which is also Mangi or Mangu or Monkey, right here. It's all written on your face bone. Right in our face bone. And next time, we'll pick it up, and I really, want to get some more on this Kabul, man. I mean, named after this Indian chief connected with this Afghan scenario. Who is this Indian chief, man? Who is this Cuba, they said, right? Yeah. It said originally this Kabul is just Kuba or Kubha. Kubha, Kubha. Man, we really gotta dig on this, man. We really gotta dig on this, man. Yeah. Who's the Tangu? The Tangu's you. Who's the Kuba? The Kuba is you. We might definitely get some more out this tree of souls, you know what I'm saying? Another time as well. And yeah. What's it say about this stone again? For the dismount, I'm not. I'm out of here, man. I'm out of here. All right. So once again, a myth in the Sanhedrin asserts that HaWah used a shard to hold back the waters in exactly the same way that King David did. HaWah prevented to hone the lower waters from rising up by placing a shard above the waters. I mean, is this the same staff connected with this emerald stone that has power over the water, because the foundation stone is also of the same material? Is this shard the scepter? Would a shard of something as large as a foundation stone make a pretty good scepter, my naga, to hold back the waters like Moshe in there? We're talking emerald scepters, right? What did Lost Tribes in Promised Land just say? Right? This Magi dodged a hijack on infant JC, in whose land he now ruled. Hugh said he wielded an emerald scepter. And just, I mean, is this the shard, my naga, that we just getting at? Side note, when they're talking about paying obeisance, just like with the Genghis Khan situation, they said this Rus, this Mikhail Rus, he was slayed. Batu Khan stabbed him to death for his refusal to do obeisance to Genghis Khan's shrine. This is a pagan ritual. So what obeisance is this Prester John reflectionist Ethiopian supposed to be making obeisance to baby Jesus all of a sudden, right? Baby JC, when obeisance is this pagan ritual connected with Genghis Khan's shrine. And you know Genghis Khan called himself the son. Oh, Genghis Khan called himself the son, the anointed, the Christ, my naka. So that they make a reflection mocking Prester John in the New Testament. Now he's making obeisance to the son. Whereas before, the Russes were getting stabbed to death for their refusal to do so, to make obeisance. Things that make you go, Suddenly, this Magi John, this Prester, is now making obeisance to this son? I don't think so, man. I don't think so, man. It appears to us that it's all happening. And what's up with this emerald scepter? Holding back the waters, is it the shard from the emerald stone? The foundation stone? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Now, what they say that the stone is made of what? Shining like the darkest emerald, God. Is this shard connected with the emerald scepter of King David, of Moshe? In the book of Yashar, it says this scepter was the same that Adam used, that they all just kept passing it. Abraham, everyone had this magic. I mean, we are talking about the Magi, so why can't we be talking about magic? If we're talking about the same wielded emerald scepter. Hey, man, I love surfing the wave with my real ones. My real knockers over here, man. I done talk myself into a great time of relaxation, a great time of silence, man, surfing away with you. We have so much more to do. Prester John 100, here we come. Next up, Prester John 74. But we always want more. We always want more in the Prester John investigation. Oh, yeah. HaWah. And Ahab to my noggin, man. Dizzle Fitty and his beautiful Ama Land, what it do. And I just want to give the true Ahab to you and, just the real wave surfers and wherever you are, whoever you are. It makes so much, it just makes so much sense, that we can do this together, and you see some drop, you send it in and, we can talk about it, for a great dismount, man. We're talking ancient Hebrew on the roof Tiles of Gojoseon Dynasty in Korea. And we ain't dug too much on the Korea, but we've played with this Kara flow, Korea, Kara flow. And I'll lead is for you, my Naga, but they say the Koreans, like the Israelites, went through hardship. They're comparing, okay, chosen people hidden in the history of the world that achieved the miracle of the Han or the Jahan or the Anon River. Oh, yeah, we talking Anon, Arnon still, overcoming numerous hardships and foreign invasions. This paper is the result of a long-term study of the activities and immigration of the D or Dan tribe among the Israelites, the Dan tribe. Then we just talk about ThaWaDa, Dana, Dunan. Let's go, man. Yeah, Dangoon. So Dangoon, I'm just belly flopping, but Dangoon is the founder of Korea. The main topics and contents of this paper are explained in three parts. In the first part, by succeeding in deciphering the ancient Hebrew patterns on the roll or the roof and tiles excavated in Dong Riverside in the Korean Peninsula, I will reveal that Dangoon, the founder of Korea, was the lost Dan tribe of ancient Israelites. Wow, this is amazing drop. Lynn popping off. A-Hop to you. A-Hop Dizzle Fitty always holding his way up. Wow. All right. So they, put together a lot of recon around this Korea. And just like the Philippines, this is something that we got to study out. The ancient Israelite connection on all these, islands and these Asias, because we just keep asking, does North America exist? If not, if this is Asia, then Korea will also have to connect here, right? This Korea and this Quivera situation might connect as well. We played around with the Korea-Quivera situation. The Quivera is also the Khyber or the Heberia or the Heber or the Hebrew or the Eber. You did. The Israelites only knew the oldest ancient Hebrew were used in the dynasties of David and Solomon. We're talking about that Picto, that Paleo. Recently, it is revealed that the place where Moses received the Ten Commandments being recorded, the law that the Israelites should keep from HaWah, is not Mount Sinai in the Sinai Peninsula, which is one of the Christian pilgrimage courses, but Mount Laws, located in South or Saudi Arabia, the land of Midian. Okay. Now let's, check out. This is the rooftop of the Israeli 12 tribe symbol. 3,200 years ago, the period of Judges, when Samson, leader of the Dan tribe, died in a war against the Philistines, the Dan tribe did not own the enterprise distributed by Joshua. They did not own the enterprise distributed by HaWah. It seems to move to the northeast for the first time among the 12 tribes of Israel in the period of Judges, arrived at the Dangdong River basin in Korea Peninsula and established Gojoseon there. So figure 1 is the roof end tiles of the 12 tribes. 11 tribes among 12 tribes occupied the tents distributed by Joshua. Only Dan tribe could not stay in the tents, so they moved to the northeast. The roof end tile expressed a state as a dot without a tent. The roof end tile with floral design of figure 1-2 is a one engraved with the name of JoiWorld or the name of Jonathan, grandson of Moshe. It is on display at Lushi Room of Korean National Museum. Okay, all right. Whoa, whoa. What's he talking about here? He proves that the American Indians are Korean people at home and abroad through the names of every area of South and North America. So they tying in the so-called Korean today, right? But really they're just tying in the ancient Kara people, Kara, like the Carolinas in America, right? The Kara, Katai of Wong Kong, Prester John. They're making a connection with the American Indians, Managa, not me. We know what the copper-colored tribes look like. Wow. Woohoo, Aqua Lane got the drop. Dizzle 50, ha, my nigga. You know you got the drop. Whoa. So, relics, Indian tribal names, customs, clothing, ornaments, language, astronomy, calendar, acupuncture, interpretation of Indian ancient records. Native Americans are generally known as Indians in academia as well, and American Indians have the characteristics of a Mongolian birthmark with the blue spot on their hips. Recent analysis, man. We Nagas, man, you been had these Mongolian marks, man. They call them birthmarks, right? You always had that dark patch, the Mongolian birthmark, blue spot, they call it. And then they're using their DNA to try to connect the current Korean with the current American Indian just to throw you off. But in reality, you need to connect the ancient Amarukan, indigenous people, with the ancient Korean because North America don't even exist, man. If this is Asia, this is China, Cathay, best believe Korea or Baba Covera is over here. You best believe Japan or Kapangu is right here. It's all happening in India. Superior. Man, it's an excellent link. I'll make sure I leave it. Hi, man, to again, Aqua, Amalan, and the bro, Dizzle 50. And hey, read through it, man, and let's keep sharing this drop because they're finding ancient Hebrew all over the place, man. We got some drop to get out of this drop. HaWah. And there's also some wonderful drop, you know what I'm saying? You know, ping pow. Love to my sister, Zion, dove of Zion. Still digging on these damn dams. We talking about these great deep, these rivers, but we can't take our eyes off these man-made reservoirs, man, man-made lakes. The said locks and dam is a locks and wicked dam, damn. On the Ohio River at River Mile 964.4. The project is intended to reduce tow and barge delays. Yeah, right. By replacing the existing older and frequently congested locks and dams number 52 and 53. The locks are located about 17 miles upstream from their confluence of the Ohio, Mississippi. So you already know, man, Cahokia, all that ancient stuff is being affected by these dams, just like we dug on the Tennessee Valley Authority, all that stuff, man. Like all our stuff, all the Tecumseh flow, Chickamauga, underwater. The project is operational while the removal of locks and dams 52 and 53 should be completed around 2020. They just did this, man. The project is both the largest and most expensive inland waterway project ever undertaken in the United States. They just did this, man. Love to my sister, Dove of Zion. Wow. 775 million budget, man. 775 million, $1 billion budget in 1988. I mean, $1 million budget. That's billions of dollars today, man. This is 88. 775 milli to flood and sink your Naga cities because they know what lies beneath. They are paying top dollar to get you out the way, right? They're paying $1 billion in 1988 to get you out the way, damn near. Back to the Army Corps of Engineers. They always behind it because it's a military invasion. It's a military tactic. It's a military operation. The new dam and locks will reduce passage time to under 1 hour with the new system. So it's all about just transportation, I guess. Wow. Wow. This is just happening. So what do you think are under these man-made situations, man? How many Naga cities are under here? How much Nagaville is under these waters? We're going to definitely touch more on this, my sister Dove of Zion, man. I mean, you dropping that drop, and the contributors, y'all, continue to drop this drop for the tribe, for JoiWorld, Ahab, Chauncey Brown, Mahogany Love, Eric Mays popping off. Help us build our fence for JoiWorld. Look at what we've done so far. Look at what we've done so far. Love to my sister Carol Hawk, who also dropped some drop on Venmo. All the family dropping it on CashApp. My bro Dizzle just dropped some more drop on the CashApp. Ahab for the fence by Naga. And my Naga there in real time, you know what I'm saying? The reason why we so lined up, my Naga Dizzle came out there days early before the tribe even gathered and make sure we got lined up. So Ahab, my Naga, Dizzle, Fitty, my Nagas, help us build our fence, Ahab. And please don't stop the drive because we got a big project ahead of us. And we're going to need every bit of the drive to continue to build on our land. And, you know, we're building, you know, this is something that is a vision for us to just learn how to build again, just to be in a structure, be in the act of building again, my Naga. What is structure but the act of building? So can't come over here and ask about structure unless you are not a witness to what we're building. In order to get to a point of building a fence, we had to build within ourselves. We had to build our code, and the order and the flow comes natural because we are natural by law. Love to the bro. Help us build our fence. Help us build our structure, my Naga. And you do that all the time by KTC. You're building your structure, and you're surfing the wave for real. You know, this wave is real. You know, the reality that we're surfing in is real. If all this hijack city is real, all this hijack's going down, all that's real, then best believe that the fountain of youth is real, that these waters of the deep that men flow is also real. And your Prester John is the realest. Oh man, you know, next time we'll be back in that Prester John legend and his sources. We'll dig on the OSP, get some more China drop. Definitely go back into the romances because, you know, that's all about a knight and that's all about a hero. Who is Prester John? You know, what's up with ANIAN and ANIAN? Yeah, Definitely got to get back on the ANIAN R9 flow. The Anan bin David. Who got the necromancy? The hijacked city. With permissions of the pharaoh then. With permissions of the mother-sucking pharaoh today, right? That's how they move with their treaties of peace and friendship. Tomas. Teom. Who's the twin? You gotta dig on this twin and get more details on this Tomas situation, man, because it seems to be connecting a lot with the Prester, with the emerald staff or the shard. All those who saw it were amazed, and they knew it that they they knew that it must indeed be the fabled stone, which serves as the foundation. Yet all at once David was possessed. He needed to see what was beneath. So could that be the transgression? We're just talking about the deep. HaWah prevented Tahom from rising up by placing a shard above the waters on which he had engraved his name. The seal was removed only once in the time of Noah. Then Tahom united with the upper water, and they together they flooded the earth. In the Sefer HaZikronot, Zikhnrot, 1 verse 6, a clearly related midrash reports that the earth was created from the snow beneath the throne of glory. HaWah took it up, scattered it upon the waters, and the waters congealed and became the dust of the earth. This is linked to the verse, for he says to the snow, become earth, in Job 37, verse 6. The Talmudic legend about King David demonstrates the immense sanctity of Jerusalem, and especially of the site of the temple there. King David sets out to dig the foundations of the temple, strikes the foundation stone of the earth upon which HaWah built the rest of the world. This confirms that Jerusalem is the very center of the world, and it was portrayed as it was portrayed in ancient maps. At the same time, this tale is a divine test, not unlike the test of Adam and Eve, of Abraham in the Akedah, the binding of Isaac and of Job. Even though a voice from the stone warns them not to lift it, King David, not unlike Pandora, lifts the foundation stone and sets free the power of chaos, the water of the abyss, which threatens to inundate the earth as in the time of Noah. In a desperate moment, David writes the Tetragrammaton, the secret name of HaWah, on a shard and throws it into the abyss, and the power of HaWah's name causes the waters to retreat. So you know HaWah's name is written on the emerald scepter. Note the echo to nuclear war in this episode. David learns the foundation stone must not be tampered with, as we have learned the dangers posed by tampering with the atom. Wow. Yeah, man. Yeah. They settled the land on the east bank along the Arnon River near Moab. Benjamite had escaped. Benjamin, Saul, the Benjamite had escaped to join their Semitic or Shemitic cousins in Tibet. Ping pow. Oh man, we getting that drop. And I like how he mentioned that Arnon flow, because we just talking ANIAN, we've been showing you that they switched ANIAN to Arnon, right? Just put in Arnon, or put in ANIAN and Arnon. And have fun, man, from that point. Just have fun after that. Oh, to the Reubenites and the Gadites I gave from Gilead, even as far as the valley of Arnon. Huh? Oh, we call them Slipping Boss. The fort of ANIAN on the eastern river draining into the Dead Sea. Now, last time we did this, we noticed that it says ANIAN in the description, but when we clicked on it, they still changed the text to Arnon every single time. So let's see what it says here, Oh, this one actually kept ANIAN, my naga. The ford of ANIAN, an eastern river draining into the Dead Sea. Isaiah 16:2, and fords leading to Babylon. Now, I just wonder in Isaiah 6:2, did they switch it back to R9? Like fluttering birds, like scattered nestlings, so are the daughters of Moab at the fords of Arnon. My naga, they changed ANIAN in our face bone to Arnon. I can't make this stuff up. Now it says Arnon. But before it said the fort of ANIAN. So what happened? Why are they switching it up in our face like this? Why are they doing this to us? Because something about these borders that, Noble Drew Ali and them was trying to talk about, the Arnon River, it's really the ANIAN, my naga. And once you know it's the ANIAN, my naga, and maybe you'll start to connect the Anan, you know what I'm saying? Maybe you'll start to connect the Prester. Or maybe you'll, just start to connect, the real thing, man. Say it with me. Say it with me, my nigga. Ania. Uh-oh. This is the Prester out. HaWah. Oh, yeah. Where's the ford? Where's the brook of Arnon? Where's the Anion? Why is it so important? Love to my Nagas dropping that drop on the IG, man. Always dropping that drop, man. You know, I love all my IG Nagas. You know, they have such a good wave going right here, man. And, you know, it's a beautiful thing. And I appreciate all my Nagas, man, surfing this wave, steady water. Okay. A lot of drop going down. They surfed the wave with us on Instagram. You know, Chef Candy's cooking Brussels sprouts. And we're talking ANIAN. You know, we got some Brussels sprout drop going, you know what I'm saying? It's all happening right here because it's one tribe, drop nation, tribe of HaWah. But my naga, we're just talking ANIAN, the kingdom of ANIAN. So when they connect the R9, they're connecting this same area that they call Northwest Africa, right? The more, right? That's a border. That's a very specific border, this R9, this river, this ANIAN. But the kingdom of ANIAN is what they're hiding. Yeah. Hey, love to the family, illustrious Jaquin, and more Aboriginal. Because even though we talk more and more war, there are some of them Moors that really want to dig on that water, you know, and they really are surfing the wave and giving us great energy. So Ahab to all the Moabites, Ammonites, uh, you know, everybody rocking with the Arnon Anion flow, you know, everybody just surfing the wave, man. You know, I appreciate all y'all. We're not banging on nobody. We're just digging on for truth, you know. We don't belong to no school of thought. We just are surfing the wave, and I appreciate my knockers for surfing the wave with me. You know what I mean? Ahab illustrious King and more Aboriginal. He's getting that drop steady water over here, man. And you know he dropped some of that Prester drop, and he put more ANIAN maps for the dismount for 9. He said the British Museum shows the Strait of ANIAN, and in the east shows America, but it shows Prester John in the area where Udall would be. Prester John, aka Priest John, Patriarch of the Indias, Ethiopian Negus. If we connect the dots and look at old maps, we see the ANIAN kingdom. Now, when you do some investigating, ANIAN or ANIAN is also R9, right? If we tie that into Udall, we see the Arnon River, which is the ANIAN River, which is the Jordan River. Uh-oh. Which goes into the Great Salt Sea or Dead Sea. We're talking Udall. And in an old Spanish map from 1847, we see Udall. Judah was the ancient residence of the Aztec, Aboriginal Americas, Moors, Hebrews, and Utah. Judah was part of Prester John's ANIAN kingdom. Hey, shout out to 432 The Drive. Hey, shout out to you, my nugget, because we just popping off. And look at these great maps. Also love to the bro Groovy Huey, man. You know, surfing this wave, you know what I'm saying, beautifully as well, man, and sharing this great drop. Yeah, ANIAN, see? Straits of ANIAN, right? And here you see it very close. In other maps, it has it connected. In this previous map, it has it right here, right? Ania, Azareth, Mangi, remember all that? The Monkey Mangi. Oh, we got a lot of drop today, man. We've been surfing away. But remember, the monkey is also the Mangi, all right? Mangi is monkey. That's why you keep seeing it on all these maps. And the Mangi, this is a Mongol Khan, also manga, Mangu Khan. born 1208. This is a real person. He's the brother of Kublai Khan. He's the son of Genghis, my nigga. So of course there's a place named after him. So why wouldn't it be a place named after son of David, Anan bin David, ANIAN, Anan, right? If Monkey got a place named after him, would any sons of David have places named after them? You know, such as Anan, which they could be connected with. ANIAN, we're just talking about the Kara, right? Right. Oh, he's the grandson. Monkey's the grandson, also Mongu of Genghis Khan, right? Back to this great map where you see Mangi right here, Khan. Mangi, all that, right? So let's go. Anian Kingdom. Here's examples that we showed before of how they switched to Anian to Arnon. My land from the Anian River to the Jabbok River and all the way to the Jordan, but they never once crossed the Arnon River into Moab for the Arnon, you know what I mean, continuity, which is the brink of the river Arnon. In numbers, it is simply Antioch. So they're telling you it's interchangeable with Arnon and Antioch. Why are they changing it? Because this Arnon stream is a river canyon in Jordan, which enters the Dead Sea. Wadi Moji. Ar is mentioned in the Hebrew Bible several times as the city of ancient Moab. Numbers 21:15, while the exact location is unknown, it is likely to have been the southern part of the Arnon Valley, or the kingdom, which is the present-day Wadi Mujib George in Jordan. The city was one of the Moab's most prominent, being listed by the prophet Isaiah in his denunciation of the Moabite nation in Isaiah 15. The city was seated in an island in the middle of the river, says Matthew Poole. Moab, biblical town of the northern bank of the river Arnon, or Anian, to the east of the Dead Sea in present-day Jordan. We're just talking Utah, Great Salt Lake. This is an ancient Moabite settlement. Where's Mount Nebo, my naga? Where's Moab, Utah? Look it up. The Dead Sea today, Mount Pisgah, Jordan River, River Arnon, Antioch. So my naga's taking it a step forward, man, and really pinpointing, you know what I'm saying, with hard facts and mad validation, man. Ahab to all the cons doing the recon, man. What river flows into the Great Salt Lake? Jordan River. Let's go. And another great map. Utah. India. Let's go. 1847, mapper of Estados Unidos de Mexico. Antigua, residents of the Aztecas. Yeah, it's all happening. Do you see clearly? When we talk R9, we're really talking what? Ania. AI for surfing away with me, my naga. And Prester John 73, my naga. And it feels great to pop off with you on IG, my naga. And the YT, my naga. Because we over here getting cozy, my naga. Hey, only the real ones can understand this flow. Only the real ones can have the glow as the Dracan rises and we see clearly we are not alone. We are united. Help us build a fence to unite our flow, unite our tribe the right way, in the right vibration. You come correct, man. If you come correct in the first wave, you better come correct in the fourth wave. If you come humble in the first wave, you better be humble tenfold in the fourth wave, because you've been witnessing the whole time. Be humble for HaWah. Being humble for HaWah, let you see what the order is. Let you see what the structure is that's being built around you. Because Mama has built her house with structure. Allow HaWah to the home team. Keep the water flowing and keep the fire burning. Shalom.